Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Late to the Game podcast, episode 4. This is going to be a little change of pace, or we'll call it for now our Super Bowl special episode. We're at Wednesday, February 15th here. We're just a couple days removed from the Super Bowl. We're still off that Super Bowl high, so what we want to do for you this episode is we want to break down the game, want to break down some trailers, and your three regulars are here to bring all that to you. I'm your host tonight, Cullen. I'm joined with Sean and Tom. Say hi to the mics for us, boys.
How's it going?
What's going on, guys? How we feeling?
All right.
Feeling up.
Feeling up, feeling ready?
Ready to go.
All right, cool. So
Don't have a main topic for once. We're kind of just just shooting the shit.
This one's going to be a little bit less organized. We've still got some fun segments planned out for today, but we're going to try out some new segments, actually. We've got a draft segment coming up, and I'm super excited about that.
A lot of fun we're going to have there.
We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to break down some trailers, stuff we're excited for 2023. There's also going to be a pretty spoiler-free episode. We're not somewhat. We're gonna reveal some directors and upcoming characters for movies, but nothing too big is gonna be revealed today. So you don't have to worry about really spoilers or anything.
Yes.
You know, anything that we talk about here is pretty much seen in the trailer or
it's all
major
on you guys.
news. Yeah, it's all on you guys. So you know what? It just
deal with it.
Just sit back and enjoy the ride.
This is basically
right?
the news episode. So Tom, can we get like a news intro?
Do like a newscaster voice.
Welcome to the news, everybody.
That's not a newscaster voice.
I'm your host, Ron Burgundy. But do we want to get into the Super Bowl a little bit? How do we feel about
it? All right. So first, we're just gonna talk about the football game itself. Personally, my initial thoughts, I was really excited going in. Chiefs Eagles, and I was strongly rooting for the Chiefs because fuck the Eagles, they knocked out the Giants. Big rivals.
I'm on the opposite camp.
What's up?
I'm on the opposite camp.
Tom's in the opposite camp.
Literally.
In my personal opinion, I just wanted the Eagles to lose. I did not care who won. I just wanted the Eagles to lose.
Yeah, I just wanted my bet to win.
I got what people are kind of tired of the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl 3 out of the last 4 years. The Patrick Mahomes hype. And, I get it. It gets tired seeing the same guy in the Super Bowl, but I couldn't stand to root for the fucking Philadelphia Eagles and their fucking scumbag fan base. Yes, I'll say it, okay?
All right,
you know what?
I'll give you that one.
They destroyed their own city when they won a fucking Super Bowl. Who destroys their own city in celebration?
A lot of cities.
Every city.
No, fucking Philly.
A lot of
fucking
cities.
Philly.
I'm pretty sure Green Bay did it once.
It's just fucking Philly. It's just fucking, yeah. See, I don't like Boston sports teams, but I can respect their fans more because they don't destroy their own city.
The city of brotherly love.
Boston's actually a cool city. Philly's a shit city. I hate Philly. All right?
Fuck the Liberty Bell.
The Liberty Bell's all right. It's got some cool history, but it was
a solid game overall.
The game was exciting. It was high scoring. I predicted the score correctly, 38-35. I wish I said that on an earlier podcast. It would have been hype. But anyway, I predicted the score correctly. I love to see Coach Andy Reid. Love to see him beat his former team. Love to see the Eagles go down. One of the most important things I thought about the game is that it didn't come down to the refs. You couldn't say, oh, there was a BS call that decided the game. People are going to complain about the holding call. The fucking D-back, James Bradbury, former Giant, who got called on the defense holding, said after the game, I held him. I was hoping the ref didn't see it and I'd get away with it. So that dispels any notions that the refs ruined that game.
Yeah, but a lot of people already are.
The moment.
A lot of people are already saying
it was a very close game. It was a fun game to watch.
No, that's what I'm saying. And it was close to watch. It was high scoring. It came down to the wire. I feel like you can't really have a lot of complaints about that game unless you're a super biased Eagles fan.
Yeah. Me personally, I like the Eagles because they won me a Super Bowl a little while back, and as the biggest underdogs ever at that time. You know, they
definitely weren't the biggest underdogs ever at that time. The Giants
had years without a Super Bowl.
No, that was their first one in history, but they weren't the biggest points underdog.
They had a solid team.
You know what I mean?
If we're talking just straight on the Super Bowl level, though. You know
no,
what I mean?
they weren't the biggest underdogs. It was the Giants versus the Patriots in 2007. The Giants faced an undefeated Patriots team. They were the biggest underdog in Super Bowl history.
I mean...
Colin's saying that the year that Philadelphia, they had a pretty solid stacked team that year.
No, their team wasn't that great that year. They definitely weren't expected to win, but... they had a backup quarterback who won the Super Bowl.
There used to be a running joke around that the Eagles would never win a Super Bowl. So at that time, the reason why people went crazy not saying it's justified, but that's part of the reason why people were going so ape shit over that shit.
Yeah. You know why they were going so ape shit? Because they saw a Super Bowl. They knew it'd be the only one in their fucking sorry lifetimes as Eagles fans.
All right, enough of us ripping on Philadelphia.
I'm sorry, man. They pissed me off.
One other thing we wanted to touch on about the Super Bowl, the halftime show with
if the
with
Phillies
Rihanna.
want to sponsor the podcast, thank you.
If the Phillies want to hire me, I'm down.
Halftime show.
Halftime
with
show.
Rihanna.
Okay, the halftime show. I was pretty excited for it. I was even talking to my mom about it the day before. I'm like, oh, Rihanna's on. Like at first, when I heard she was announced, I was like, like I like Rihanna. She's solid. But then I started listening more of her music. She's got some bangers. I fuck with Rihanna pretty heavily. Now she performed. It was very meh. I'm gonna give her a break though because she was pregnant.
I don't know. So my thing is, I saw someone at the Super Bowl was recording, and they're like, can't believe the shit. They turned it to the left. She had all of her lyrics up on one of the big screens.
Yeah. Oh, she was lip syncing 100%.
No, and also she didn't remember her lyrics. They had to put them up so she could read them.
She's got the pregnancy brain, man.
No.
Hey, I heard my sister say it. She's
Pregnancy brain?
Apparently, it's a thing.
Discuss this, Colin.
It's like a foggy brain. It can be harder to memorize things, you know?
You got two brains in your body.
Exactly, man. Hey, like, I sympathize
That should make
with
you
them.
smarter.
I can sympathize with that.
Increases your brain functioning. It's like NZT from Limitless.
NCTs. I want to take some.
All right, guys. Any final touches on the Super Bowl before we move on?
Commercials were super disappointing.
I'd like to touch up on
The
Rihanna
non-trailer
What-
commercials.
What
Yeah,
the
I'm
hell
saying
was the
regular
running
commercials.
theme here with the whole halftime show? I
What do you
had
mean
no
running
idea
theme?
what they were going on with that.
Like the dancing or choreography?
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
it
really
seems
get
like
it
the
either.
whole entire theme was based off the fact that she was pregnant because everybody's dressed up like babies and stuff
I don't.
like
Were
that.
they?
No, I don't think that was
Seemed
it.
like that
I don't think it was
know.
that. I think the whole choreography thing was just a way to get you off of watching her the whole time because, like you said, she's pregnant and she's not really doing anything besides standing there.
Yeah, she can't really
Well,
dance
by
like
having
crazy.
a
So they
bunch of
had like
dancing
all these
babies
like
on stage
explosive
doesn't
like
help.
dance moves to kind of like throw you off from it. But
Word. Well, anyway, I was super disappointed by the commercials overall. Like, one's promoting products, not the movie trailers.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just like regular promoting product commercials. I was super disappointed personally.
Yeah.
all right,
All right, so that's the Super Bowl game itself.
Commercials wise, it was meh.
yeah, man. But
Yeah,
let's
They've been kind of on the downslope with that.
I think the
recently.
last good year for commercials was 2017, the last time the Eagles won the Super Bowl. That was the last good year for commercials, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
the last good
I'd agree.
commercial I saw on the Super Bowl was Meadow driving down the.
Oh,
that was
Jordan
last
AJ
year.
Last year, yeah, that was fire.
all right. But we ready for the 2023 draft?
Yes, sir.
So this draft is going to be our top 5 action heroes, based on personal preference.
Just however you want to take
performance,
it. So
however you want to
it's
take it.
personal preference, yeah.
So our order for the draft, we spun a wheel beforehand. The order is going to be myself, Tom, and then Cull.
Okay. Also, I think we're gonna need to set like maybe a soft time limit on how long because like I don't want people taking too long for their picks. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we all have them written down. I think we're going to go through them pretty
I'm
quickly.
ready. I'm ready.
I just want to make sure we go through them quick.
I think
That's all I'm saying.
we're gonna say them, give like a brief reason why we picked it. Next person.
I'll take
Word.
the lead.
Very,
on this
very
one,
brief
guys.
reason.
I got this.
Very brief reason on why you picked them because we're going to discuss that more afterwards. Okay,
Right.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
no,
Yeah,
of
so
course.
that's the other thing.
All right.
Once we've
Just wanna
done the
make
full
sure.
draft, we're going to
Then
discuss
we'll
each,
see
each
which 5.
team's-
Also,
each
write
5.
write down who you take.
Right.
Don't
And we're
worry, I
gonna
won't
say
drag
who our
ass on
favorite
this. I got this.
But,
Okay, just make sure
all right,
you
my
do it.
number 1 is going to be John McClane from the Die Hard series.
Makes sense that he goes first round, first
So,
overall.
Tom, who do
Solid
you got? Number 1.
Number 1, I got John Wick.
Oh.
John Wick series going on with the heavy hitters.
It's a personal favorite, though, too.
Yeah, a little bit. As of recent days, yeah.
You guys are gonna like this. I'm gonna continue with John Trent. I've got John Rambo.
Oh, he was also in my first round.
Put in my
He's a
tick-
first round pick.
All right,
I
but
almost
see-
got a tic-tac-toe
all right,
game going
all right, but
on.
wait, hang on, guys. I can't believe this guy didn't get taken first round. So now I'm going to take him second round. I'm going with James Bond.
That's fine. I didn't really want him, to be honest.
But I mean, staple action hero.
No,
They've
he
been-
is. He's been
how
around
many
forever.
movies?
I know.
Just a staple.
I can fuck with that pick.
So, Tom, who you got? round 2.
Being in the 80s, there's a lot of Arnold picks, so
That's true.
Facts.
I'm just going to say, you can't have a bunch of fucking Arnolds on there. It's just cheating. So I decided for my robot type character, because I made it.
He made a category.
I'm like,
know
I
he
need a
did.
robot type character. I did Del Spooner from iRobot, because you gotta love Will Smith when he's on his A game.
Okay.
I think that's a little high for round 2. That's what I'm going to say that right now. I'm going to go with the bride from Kill Bill.
Oh, all right.
Was that on your list?
Oh, it was on my list.
Oh, that's cause I
wanted
got.
to I wanted to
like a
make sure
tic-tac-toe game.
I wanted to
over
make
here.
sure I got her early, baby.
All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
round 3 for me. Another thing I can't believe a superhero character hasn't been taken yet. I was expecting it.
I was thinking this wasn't going to really be superheroes. I was thinking I was a little separate.
Yeah, I
My-
think that's a little.
I think it's a little separate.
My,
Say who it is first.
my decision was I was only going to take one because
All right.
I wanted to make sure it wasn't like a fully
Maybe
superhero.
we'll allow it. Let's
And
hear it.
maybe.
Maybe we'll allow
He-
it.
listen,
bullshit.
It's got to be
Better
an
not
action
be
hero.
fucking
He's
Superman.
no, I didn't do Superman.
Or Batman.
I was
You can't take
well.
that.
Nah, you
I was
can't.
gonna do Batman to
Can't.
steal it from Tom
You
No,
motherfucker.
he's a
because I know he's
superhero.
on.
Don't-
I know
that's
he's
below
on
the
Tom's
belt.
list. But I wanted to take another staple hero, but from the opposite side of the comic book spectrum. I'm gonna go with Captain America.
All right. Well, you know
right.
what?
I'll allow it.
That
Because,
fits. Because
listen,
you know what?
it fits.
His movies might as well.
I was
be
gonna
like
say
action
when you
thrillers.
think
all
about like especially more recent stuff, you look at like the Chris Evans, the movie ones. When I was thinking about it, I was thinking of the first Avenger, like he's a soldier in World War
or
II.
Winter Soldiers, like
Or
the
yeah,
most
Winter Soldier,
rounded-
the darker version.
Yeah.
But,
No, I can get down with that. I'll allow that.
Yeah, no,
for
that-
sure. That's
we can
fine.
get behind
That's
that.
fine.
all right,
But
Tom, who do you got? Round 3.
Round 3, right? Round 3, like again, following the trend of, there being a lot of contenders in the Arnold Park. I got 3 potential candidates, but I ended up deciding that Dutch from Predator
good pick.
It's a great
was
pick.
going to be my third pick because, come on, man, he's the only guy in the squad that could survive the Predator, and he took him out without any ammunition. I mean,
Yep.
just nothing but his own devices and his own skills. So that's my pick for round 3.
solid pick. My pick is gonna be Neo from The Matrix.
That was my round 4.
You
Damn it.
can't let him fall to round 4, baby. You
I thought he'd
cannot
make
allow
it.
that.
Yeah.
Well, he was really in my round 3, but you guys let James Bond slide, so he got bumped out.
I told you I was fine with letting him fly.
All right. Well, round 4, I'm gonna have to take one of my other guys I had next to him. Another, I would say, a lot of mine are big franchise guys. I just think they're great action heroes. You could tell because their movies keep going, like they last. I'm gonna go with Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I had him written down. I had him as my number 3/4. That's a good pick.
Ethan
How many
Hunt?
Mission Impossible movies have you seen though?
I have seen up to 4, I believe.
Word. I've seen only 1 to 3, so
Yeah.
word. We're about the same. I heard 4 might be the best though.
It is. It's the one with Jeremy Renner.
And Simon Pegg, right?
Yep.
Word. Solid pick.
And I'm on the rotation.
Round
on
4,
round
Tom. You're
four.
up.
So for my round 4, I decided to go with Indiana Jones.
That's
I
a
can't
good
believe we
one.
let him fall that far.
That's a good one.
I had him as my rank 2/3. I passed him twice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I have to go with the classic.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
practically made the genre almost.
No, that is facts. Damn, I can't believe I let him fall that far.
Yeah, you got to get Harrison Ford in where you can.
All right, I gotta go with a classic action hero here, Snake Plissken.
Snake Plissken.
Yes, sir.
you
Straight
dirty
from
dog.
New York, baby.
Got the dog.
That is Kurt Russell at his finest, baby.
All right. Well, final
He
round.
does a lot more running than he does shooting in that movie, though. If we're being fair.
There's plenty of action where he's amazing at that. I'm very happy with that pick.
Final round, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I really went just personal preference on this one. I'll talk a little bit also why I think it's a good pick afterwards. I've been talking about him a little bit today before we started filming, but my 5th pick is gonna be Jack Ryan.
Solid.
So.
Okay.
Before I just started getting into like they call it the Jack Ryan verse, which I didn't even know was a thing until like about a month ago. But the man has had 5 movies, which Ben Affleck has played him, Chris Pine has played him. I'm trying to think who else has played him. Right now it's John Krasinski in the TV show that's got 3 seasons with a 4th coming out. Overall, I just think again he's another staple that's been able to last, and it's his original movie, which is people believe is like one of the great movies from the 80s, The Hunt for Red October.
For the movie's very good. Yep.
Alrighty, so for my last pick, since the bride got taken, I
You
wanted
couldn't
to.
save her for your last pick, bro.
Well, apparently not. Apparently I can't. But I wanted to stick with at least one of the female badasses in the genre. So I went with Ellen Ripley from the Aliens franchise. Yes, sir.
Never seen those, but word.
Running with the theme of Dutch takes on the Predator, she takes on the Queen. I got two people, two underdogs that fucking just love to beat the odds.
Yep.
I can fuck with that.
Mm-hmm.
Final pick, Cole.
So yeah, my final pick is you guys are not gonna think of him as an action hero, but this guy 100% counts, and I think you guys are both gonna fuck with it. Brian O'Connor, baby.
See, you ready? I had Dominic Toretto, but listen, they are action heroes, but I felt like it was gonna be a somewhat obvious pick for the three of us.
I'm surprised. I saved him for my last pick. Paul Walker's so iconic as that character. It's who you think of him as. He does a lot of his own stunts in all those movies too. Yeah. He's still in the movies today, even though he's dead, which is a controversial thing. We're not going to get into that right now.
Yeah.
We're not going to get into that right now. We'll talk about that in a future episode. But
if you guys are interested,
anyway. He's honestly just one of my favorite movie characters in general. Such a likable guy, such a likable character. I usually try to not like the main character protagonist in a lot of movies or shows, but he just steals the show, and his cars, he gets the girl. He's just a fucking beast, and I'm respect to Paul Walker for bringing that character to life so perfectly. So that's gonna be my last round pick.
Right on. So that wraps up the draft. So who do we think has the best five?
All right. Well, everyone name their five, and don't defend anyone. Just give it 1 through 5.
So John McClane, James Bond, Captain America, Ethan Hunt, and Jack Ryan.
Okay.
Tom, what's your 5?
John Wick, Del Spooner, Dutch, Indy, and Ellen Ripley.
Okay. I got John Rambo, The Bride, Neo, Snake Plissken, and Brian O'Connor.
I don't know. Personally,
it's hard to say.
If we can't vote for our own,
I'm leaning towards...
Neo's a little bit cheating, bro.
That is not cheating.
No, I also had him on my
list.
Neo's
100% counts.
Neo took on 100 Agent Smiths at once.
Damn right,
motherfucker.
I'm just gonna say we can't vote for ourselves. My vote is gonna be probably for Tom. He's got, like he said,
I was gonna vote for you.
He's got 2 staple characters. He's got Ellen Ripley and the man who was the first action hero for the Predator series. He's got Indiana Jones.
So we give Sean Captain America because it's borderline superhero, and then we got fucking Neo flying all over the place, huh?
I mean, Captain America was literally a superhero. He's shot with a fucking super soldier serum. Neo just takes a pill.
The chosen one.
Yeah, but he
doesn't
have any real powers.
He's an action hero. Regardless, action is action. And
Sean's
an
a
action
superhero.
Hero.
Was shot with the serum. It's way different. It is.
I'd argue Neo's more of a superhero than Captain America.
All right, well, we're not arguing. Tom, who is your vote for?
My vote?
Between me and Cole, who do you think has a better 5? You can't vote for yourself.
You can't vote for yourself.
Tom,
I think yours would be better taking on, non-human life forms. You've got it down.
That's facts.
But, that's not going to
be Indiana Jones fought an alien.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's not going to be every war, every battle.
So run it down, Sean. We got Captain America for you. Colin, you got Neo. Who else is on the other?
I also got The Bride.
No, he's saying for matchups. I would say.
Well, it's not direct matchups. It's
no, but he's trying to compare matchups.
Let's talk about it.
So let's say John McClane and Rambo would probably be a matchup. I'd say.
Yes.
John McClane and Rambo.
I'm gonna be honest. Rambo would probably win that one.
Rambo would probably give him a war he wouldn't believe.
Probably win that one.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have James Bond. I don't know who would be the most similar on your list to that.
To James Bond, probably Snake Plissken.
True.
Yeah, probably. Snake.
I gotta give it to James Bond.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
James Bond.
I agree.
Then you're probably gonna take it here because now I have.
Snake Plissken's slick, but he ain't James Bond.
No, I agree with that. I said that goes to Bond 100%.
So then I have Ethan Hunt.
Ethan Hunt would probably be my Brian O'Connor. So I'd also give it to Ethan Hunt.
Well, who's your last guy again?
Oh,
Brian's my last guy, but I also have The Bride and Neo, which are both pretty.
But when he's saying comparing, so then that would be.
I say Ethan because Ethan and Brian were kind of just regular guys.
No, Ethan Hunt is a CIA agent, so I would put him up against The Bride probably, and then I put
The Bride's winning.
That's why I'm saying you're probably taking this one because then it's Jack Ryan versus Paul Walker. Jack Ryan is basically just an analyst who was a Marine, and Brian O'Connor is
A cop, FBI agent.
Yeah, so we're pretty equal on this.
No,
pretty
I agree.
level.
She'd explode his heart.
But who did you compare Neo to? Oh, Captain America.
Captain America, he did.
You know, that's the right comparison.
So right now we both have 2-2 between Jack Ryan and Brian O'Connor. Tom, who would take that?
That's tough.
I'm less
It's a
familiar
Marine
with Jack
versus-
Ryan.
I'm less familiar with Jack Ryan too. To be
It's
honest.
basically another John McClane Rambo thing. It's a Marine versus a cop.
Yeah, and
Some Marines can be better than cops. It's like
No,
it's not
no,
like
no,
a perfect
no, for
comparison.
sure.
Ryan's got like a weird like level of feats depending on which movie you look at. So
Right.
I would say, just because of the ridiculous feats that he pulls off, I'd probably have to give it to Brian.
Okay.
You know, this
So
guy
there's votes
has,
for you, Kyle.
this guy has spit in Death's face multiple times.
So it looks like we did a triangle. We each voted for each other.
Like I said, all of ours would compare differently, like
For
based
different
on,
scenarios.
For different scenarios. Like Tom, if it's anything non-human, Tom has got that shit down.
All right, right on.
And
Which
if anything,
Things that are
military-wise-
non-human tend to be pretty superhuman. So I think I got a good.
No, I think everyone's list is good.
Yeah.
No one's list is
Yeah.
bad.
I'm
all right,
okay. I'm
let's
confident.
let's do some honorable mentions. Who are some guys you had written down who you didn't take, just for fun?
Oh shit! I
You used up all yours, or they got
no
taken?
I started deleting them so I could keep
Oh,
keep my 1 through
fuck.
5. But Dom
gotta remember.
Dom Toretto.
Word.
You took Rambo. I had Rambo. You took Neo. I had Neo. I wrote Green Arrow
I
just
had
because
Neo,
you guys knew I was gonna write him.
You had you tried to discredit him.
What?
You tried to discredit him, and you had him.
Well, I mean, if we're going to,
he's
we're
not-
making the
Tis-
superhero
tis.
debate.
He's not a superhero.
But Tom, you couldn't have been like, oh, you
He's
can't
not.
use him, and then been like, he's in my draft pool.
Yeah, facts.
But yeah, I had Green Arrow. Obviously, you guys knew I was gonna put him. And then for my superhero section, I knew I was taking one superhero. I had Captain America, Batman, or Iron Man. And I was like, Iron Man
I
probably
don't think
won't fit
Batman
that.
or Iron Man would be.
Batman, I feel like
would
would have fit the MO most
Yeah, because
closely
Batman would
though.
obviously win.
But
Yeah,
Iron
that's what I'm
Man,
saying.
Iron Man doesn't fit the MO.
No, he doesn't.
So
Yeah, Iron Man's less of a you know, you may not be a threat, but you just better stop pretending to be a hero.
Tom, did you have any honorable mentions? People who you didn't draft?
anyone you
had
didn't
written
take
down?
that was on your pool.
There was a couple I named. Jack Burton was on the list.
Dude, I had him written down too.
Yeah.
I almost took him instead of Snake, but I was like, nah, Snake's better.
I almost wanted to take him just
Yeah.
to be like, fuck you. You got Kurt Russell. I got Kurt
I
Russell
know.
too.
I needed a Kurt Russell character. Good.
He's got some feats to him though. Jack Burton
No, I
does pull
agree.
some grade A bullshit for a semi truck driver.
He does, but Snake is more badass in the better version.
Yeah, he
In terms of
definitely
action
has got a more particular set of skills.
That's
so.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
But also on my list, I had RoboCop.
Word.
That's a
I'm
good
surprised
one.
you didn't take RoboCop.
Right, honestly,
That's a good one.
that might be a kiss of death for
Might
me.
be a miss.
Either that or T800, which could have been
True,
a
that
good one.
could have been taken.
But you know what?
100%.
I wanted to go for the intuitive thinking,
The more human version.
wisecracking protagonist that Will Smith plays in iRobot because he pulls some fucking awesome shit in that movie too. It's an underrated movie in the early 2000s.
No, I fuck with that movie.
Yeah. Shia LaBeouf does a good little bit performance
Shia
in that
LaBeouf's a
movie
beast.
too.
How old did you have?
So some of my honorable mentions. I had Jason Bourne written down.
That was another good
I
one.
had him-
Bride too. I had the Bride down as well.
Word.
And Sarah Connor.
Sarah
word,
Connor's
yeah.
another
Yeah.
good one.
I had Jason Bourne as like a rank number 5, so I have C tier just because I haven't seen those movies. So I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna take him. This was a funny one for rank number 5. This was a wild card pick. I had Baby from Baby Driver.
I thought about it, but I was like, he's not really an action
Yeah, he
hero.
wouldn't
He's
really
a
help
good-
out much.
He would have been better
He's a
off.
great
You would have been
driver. Yeah.
better off picking Buddy.
Facts. You would.
He's he's more of like action. Not a hero though.
Also,
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's not.
also for my last two, it was John Matrix and Doug Quaid, but they were just too similar. They were two Arnold characters, both that were like just, special guys selected for the mission. Typical '80s hero. But
right.
yeah, those were the last ones I had.
Word. I also had Martin Riggs, who's Mel Gibson's character in Lethal Weapons. Pretty solid.
Word.
I had Rocky written down, but I was like, he's not really a true
I also
action
thought about
hero.
that. I wasn't 100%.
Yeah.
Will they be able to take on robots and fucking aliens?
Like, he's a badass, but he's not a real action hero, so I was like, we can't do that. I had Jack Burton. I had Mace Windu, who I was like, it's kind of a Star
Also
Wars
thought of
guy.
taking Star Wars, but I was like,
I was like, we should stay away from that. And then, Sean, you're going to like this one. I had Cameron Poe, who's Nick Cage in Con Air.
oh word.
Which I
That
thought
would've
would
been a
have been
good one.
funny. And he's a badass. He's an action hero, 100%.
Oh, I was gonna have a.
I needed
honestly
a
wanted
Nick
to
Cage
choose-
one written down.
In another universe, I wanted Castor Troy, but I
Castor
couldn't.
Troy,
but
yeah.
Castor Troy's the villain
He's
of that
the
movie. He's no
villain, yeah.
hero.
No hero. All right,
All right, that was a fun segment. Good shit, boys.
So let's move on to probably our biggest segment for today. The thing we wanted to talk about pretty in depth and probably the most. We're gonna call it trailer trash or trailer cash. So what we're doing is we're talking about all the main movie trailers that were shown during the Super Bowl. Possibly one or two TV trailers too. If not, we're gonna talk about them anyway a little bit later too. And we're basically gonna discuss the premise of the movie, give some of our pros, cons, just some
stuff we're excited
some
for.
thoughts we're thinking about, and then we're gonna say if we thought the trailer and really if the movie before we see it is gonna be trash or cash. And we're also going to give ratings.
Yeah,
too,
personal excitement ratings for this movie.
on a scale of 10, as we normally do.
Yes, sir.
It's a box office bag.
So
you couldn't get an episode of Late to the Game without some ratings, so
course.
fuck you.
So let's start off with the first three, which are probably
Made an
going to
early
be...
episode without some spontaneous rating.
The first three are probably all going to be some trailer trash for us. But we have Dungeons and Dragons.
Whoa.
Basically,
I don't have anything to say about this.
Premise is it's just loosely based off of the game.
I get
and
a bad taste in my mouth with just
Those
board
movies usually-
game
Yeah,
movies.
they
that-
don't hit.
Battleship. Simple as that.
Oh, me and Cole
End of
love
story.
to watch Battleship. Only
those
upside I
movies
have for
don't
that
hit.
is Chris Pine's going to be in it. Chris
Chris
Pine's
Pine's a good
solid actor.
He's a good actor.
But boys, I think trailer trash, right?
trailer trash.
I
Move
think
on.
it's throw it in the trash.
Excitement 0 out of 10.
I'll say a 1 to be nice.
All right.
Because of Chris Pine only.
Tom,
I'm supposed to get excited for this thing?
Tom,
Zero.
Tom out of 10, 0 out of 10. All right.
0.
I'll be fair too. I'll give it 1 out of 10 just for Chris Pine. Then we have 65. It's an Adam Driver movie. The premise, from what I can tell from the trailer I saw, is basically he is a man from the future who somehow crash lands on Earth during the dinosaur era, but he does not realize that it's Earth.
Okay, so is it like fucking
Planet of the Apes almost
no,
sounds
what's
It's like that Will
what's
Smith
that,
movie
no,
that he
what's
did
that
with
Taylor
Jaden Smith.
Kitsch movie where that Willem Dafoe's in?
Do not know.
Spider-Man 1.
Word.
No,
The heart, Norman!
don't worry, I'll think of it in a minute. You,
All right.
you keep going.
Well, that's really all I had on it.
That's
So,
all you had.
trailer trash, guys.
Trailer.
Oh, I thought of it. It's John Carter. It's maybe it's similar to that. I'm gonna say trailer trash. I honestly didn't see the trailer. I know Adam Driver's a respected actor, but I'm not gonna see this movie, so 0 out of 10.
Just did not excite me too much.
I think it could be a diamond in the rough that ain't been found.
I'm
I'm going to
gonna
give it a solid 5 on the excitement meter. I don't think it'll go somewhere, but I think it could surprise me at some point.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a trailer trash, but I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10, like you said, just in the chance that it could be one of those movies that like you don't know too much about. You see a trailer, you're like and then people start watching and it
One of
gets
those
big.
like cult classics, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And then the last
Sleeper
one,
hit.
the last
Sleeper,
one we
yeah.
didn't look too much into, but most of us know the basis by now is Scream 6. So basic premise of this one, it's gonna be like most other Scream movies, except this time Ghostface is going to the Big Apple. So he's taking on the city. So it's supposed to be similar to like I guess Jason Takes Manhattan or whatever.
You guys can take this one first.
That's all I said on it. I mean, I'm
I
not
don't
a
have
massive
anything to add here.
horror person, and
Neither
even
am
when
I.
I'm not big into the Scream movies. So for me, it's trailer trash. Excitement,
Well,
2 out of 10.
to explain how I feel about it, I had it down as Scream 8 on my notes. So
might be-
It's definitely 6. It's VI.
that
Definitely 6.
that will sum up. I don't even need to give you guys a number. That's my rating. Scream 8 is a 0 in my opinion.
2
Yeah,
out of
it's-
10 excitement for me. And the other thing, the only one up I'll give to it that I've heard a lot of people saying is apparently the posters have been like how a lot of
And
people
did you-
like to rate post like just the
Yeah,
posters
yeah,
for movies.
yeah, yeah.
Some
Screams
people
have
have said the
some classic
posters for
posters.
these have been great because one's supposed to be like the subway line of the city, but they're connecting it with like the deaths that have happened in all the past movies. So probably
yeah.
interesting, but that's
Yeah,
just
at
a
least
poster.
they got some good art designers on the team. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean it's not going to be a shit movie.
Yeah,
No,
make,
I know.
make good hot topic sales.
It's trailer trash. I'm not excited for this at all. 0 out of 10.
but
all right.
Let's move on from those three.
first
Bottom
one-
of the barrel.
Is it? But no. Before we move on from that, is Blumhouse producing that one too? I'm pretty sure it's Blumhouse.
I would
Yeah,
assume so.
Courtney,
Blumhouse-
is Courtney Cox involved?
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I had it down as Scream 8. So
Tom 0 out of 10 on that
Courtney
one.
Cox?
yeah.
But let's get into the first one we know a little bit something about, and by that I mean Cullen looked into it more than me and Tom. We have the Super Mario movie.
Yes, sir. Okay, I'll talk about this a little bit. Okay, so basically it's just an animated reimagination of the Nintendo video game movie. The first time they made a movie since the absolutely apparently terrible '93 live action movie.
I saw
Yeah.
parts of that. It was
Apparently
atrocious.
it's
I've heard horror stories
Atrocious.
about them.
But anyway,
Poor John Leguizamo.
this has a hype voice cast. We've got Chris Pratt as Mario, Charlie Day as Luigi, Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach, Jack Black as Bowser, Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, and the original voice of Mario since 1992, Italian actor Charles Martinet in various voice roles.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Probably gonna
they-
play. He's probably gonna play like their dad somehow or something.
apparently, people are upset that he didn't get the main voice role. They're mad that Chris Pratt got it, and that they're just
listen,
using big actors to
People aren't
potentially
happy.
sell this.
People aren't happy that they're
But,
not
like,
doing
he's
like
still
the
in it.
Italian role.
They're not doing the Italian
when you
Italian
hear the
role.
trailer, you hear it's just Chris Pine's voice. They're
Yeah,
just they're doing an Americanized version of it.
I got a hot take for you boys. What if, now I know they've been doing a lot of versus movies nowadays, right? What if this Mario movie could just be a build-up
For
to
Mario versus Sonic.
to a potential Mario versus Sonic at the Olympic Games?
I don't think Olympic Games is going to happen, but I could definitely
Great Wii game.
great Wii game. But I could definitely see it jumping into a Mario versus Sonic movie. Not just maybe not Olympic Games, but I could see
Hell,
them doing
just
something
go.
like that.
You know what?
The
To hell
animation
with-
is very similar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it is.
honestly, I think Sonic might just kick his Italian ass. You know.
You never know with this.
I mean, he's
but-
just a plumber.
So
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll just wrap it up real quick. So it's
Yeah.
directed by
Plumber
Aaron.
who eats mushrooms.
Yep, it's directed by Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic in his directorial debut. It's going to be released April 7th, 2023, so of this year. It definitely has the potential to be kind of like nostalgic to a video game series we all grew up and loved as kids. But this also could be a huge flop. So I put my excitement level at a 5 out of 10. If people say it's good, maybe I'll go see it. But like I said, I'm not chomping at the bit to see this.
trailer trash.
Trailer trash. Yeah.
I'm gonna say trailer trash too. Excitement level 4 out of 10. Just a lot of these like movies that they're trying to bring back. You know, like some nostalgia for us. They haven't been.
They just don't.
Yeah,
hit.
Sonic is the one that has been getting at least
Decent.
somewhat success.
Decent, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, Sonic just fits more in a movie, format than
Right.
Mario. Mario is a very basic storyline, too. So it's like the
Yeah.
most you can get is see it with your kids and fall asleep during the film. So I would go. I'm gonna go agree with Sean on this. I'm gonna say it's a number 4, directly in the trash.
All right.
Fair enough.
All right. So next one we have is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Basic premise for this is basically just Ant-Man and what I'm just going to call the Ant family go into the quantum realm, and they begin to see the main villain for the next few phases of Marvel, Kang the Conqueror, played by Jonathan Majors, who we'll discuss a little bit more in the next trailer, because honestly, guys, this has been his year for movies. He's just been... The three movies we know of that he's in so far, he's been killing it. He's up and coming.
Yeah, no, facts.
He's probably, I haven't been so big on the Ant-Man movies, but if anybody could carry the film, I believe that he could do it.
Some of the
I've
early
heard a lot of
reviews
good
are saying
things.
the movie's good, not great, and the best part of the movie is Jonathan Majors as
Right.
the villain.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
So maybe some low-key money. I'm gonna put my number down at 6. Right.
What
now.
would you put for the trailer?
For the trailer? I'd put it both, 6 and 6.
No, as trash or cash.
Oh well.
Segment.
Well, if it's 6, it's gonna be cash.
All right.
Word. I have my excitement level as actually a 4 out of 10. I like the first Ant-Man.
Recycling.
I didn't see the second one. So yeah, my excitement level was a 4 out of 10. The trailer didn't really bring me into it. Doesn't seem like it's going to be drastically different than the previous Ant-Man movie. Seems like they're using the same formula. But like I said, Jonathan Majors could bring a lot of cool new mojo to this movie. But yeah, 4 out of 10 trailer trash for me.
I'm going to give this a trailer cash. I'm also going to give it a 6 out of 10 with Tom for excitement. Is it going to be something I see in theaters? Probably not. Is it something that, when it comes out on Disney Plus, I'll check out? Most likely. Just from the trailer so far, it does seem like it's going to be a good jump into Phase 5 and, you know, the beginnings of a new main villain that we see throughout the Marvel movies. But, you know, it's just, I feel like a lot of people recently have been trying to compare all of the newer Marvel movies to Infinity War, Endgame.
Yeah.
You know, all of, like, the great Marvel movies. And it's like, I agree you should compare it because they're all Marvel, but you can't put them on the scale of things that did, like, so well. Like, Endgame is what, like, the third or fourth, like, highest grossing movie now, or maybe a little bit lower than that.
At the time,
Definitely
it was
10.
definitely the biggest. I remember at
So,
the time.
Definitely top 10.
You can't compare it to the highest grossing movies
Yeah.
that Marvel has created because they're huge.
Yeah, I have a lot of faith in Jonathan Majors. Is credits as an actor,
Right.
But personally, on the whole idea of Kang itself, it's too early for me to make a judgment now. I did not see Loki, where he made his his box office or his silver screen debut. But I do think that there is potential for them if they go in the right direction with it. The only thing is they're already in like the Infinity War and Endgame thing, going into things like time and such high level, like cosmic level powers.
Right.
Then you bring in a guy whose entire like characters based off of like time travel and stuff like that.
But they're mixing it up with the
that's a lot
multiverse
of
now.
building
They're making him the building block for the multiverse, which I think because we saw almost none of it in phases 1 through 4, besides obviously Doctor Strange 2 touches on it a little bit. But as long as Jonathan Majors can do what he's signed on to do, and Paul Rudd is still a great actor.
He is a great actor.
I think he can at least bring some comedy to it.
He also does
I don't want anybody to think
Exactly.
I'm sleeping on that. He is
I fuck with Paul Rudd heavily.
Yeah, he is a credible actor.
So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that one.
Yeah, it's getting solid reviews so far. Most people are saying like 3 out of 5, 7 out of 10. Like they fuck with it. It's pretty good, but doesn't wow anybody.
Doesn't blow your
from what it
socks
sounds
off.
like. Yeah, from what it sounds like so far. But I take all reviews with a grain of salt. I say fuck what the critics say.
You have to watch it for your own and see what happens.
I hope it feels a little bit. I hope it just drifts away from both of the previous Ant-Man movies.
That's what I'm saying.
The first
I want
one
it to
I
feel
love a lot.
different. Yeah.
The second one I feel like flanderized the first one a bit,
Second one gets. I feel like personally, the second one gets slept on a little bit. Second one is definitely not in like my top 10 Marvels, but like. Yeah. I still enjoyed the movie. There's still Michael Pena is just very comical character.
T.I. I like
T.I. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but
Michael Pena is a funny actor, man.
And who plays Hope? Evangeline Lilly, I believe is her name.
Yes.
I think she's very hot and a very good actress as well.
All right,
just put it
add a couple points.
I have a little crush on her. All right.
And from what I've heard about the story, the one last thing I'll say about it is I think it could have an interesting dynamic with the fact that Ant-Man and his daughter have missed a lot of time from her aging from the blip in Endgame.
In Endgame, right?
And it could bring a good storyline to it.
Milk.
Yeah, he finally brought the milk.
He finally brought home the milk and the carton of cigarettes.
We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Watch it, see what happens.
Yeah, like I said, it is the start of Phase 5. I only saw one Phase 4 movie, so maybe I'll see 2 Phase 5 movies because there's a later Phase 5 movie that I'm definitely going to see.
But so the next one we have is Creed 3, another Jonathan Majors movie. After the events of Creed 2, which none of us have seen yet, the Rocky and Creed movies are on our movie list. We just have not gotten to it yet. But Adonis Donnie Creed is thriving in both his boxing career and family life when a childhood friend and former boxing prodigy, Dame Anderson, resurfaces after serving a long sentence in prison. He is eager to prove that he deserves his shot in the ring. The face-off between former friends is more than just a fight. To settle the score, Donnie must put his future on the line to battle Dame, a fighter who has nothing to lose. So the few notes I have on it are just, Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Major likely to have a stellar performance. Michael B. Jordan has been killing it with the Creed movies, or else they wouldn't have kept making them. And like we just said about Jonathan Majors, 2023, it's looking like it could be his year for acting. Yeah. And the other thing I'm going to say, just because I have seen a good amount of the Rocky movies, I got very similar vibes to Rocky V based on this. I know you two haven't seen Rocky V yet.
I haven't.
But it's a very like street fighting vibe to it.
I saw they're gonna fight at Dodger Stadium, which I think is pretty
Right,
cool.
and this just gives off that like
that Mike Tyson type of feel almost.
right, but this gives off the idea that Adonis and Damian are like even outside of the ring. There's gonna be stuff like
it's gonna be
down.
There's gonna be
personal.
flashbacks.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of personal
childhood
stuff.
life. Yeah. So Michael B. Jordan makes his directorial debut in this movie, and it's going to be the first Rocky movie to not feature Sylvester Stallone. So Stallone stepping away from this project. He's still a producer on it, but he's not going to appear in it, which will be a little bit different. But it's because he wants to pass it on. He trusts Michael B. Jordan, says he's been doing a great job, and trusts him to take over this movie. I think there was originally some reports that it might be bad blood, but it sounds like from Sylvester's part, he's just happy to pass the reins.
I think he has some problems with more directorial stuff than Michael B. I think him and Michael B. never had any issues with it. It was more of just him deciding with directors and producers if he wanted to keep going with it.
Facts. And like I said, it seems like he's happy to step away.
He's got other stuff. I know they're making another Expendables movie.
Yes, they are. Yep.
So he's got some other things. I've also heard there may be another Rambo sequel.
Of course, they never stopped.
Even though the last one was Last
Should
Blood.
have been the last one.
Turns out it's not Last Blood. He's coming back for Final Blood or something.
Oh, shit.
Final, yeah.
Anyway, so that releases March 3rd pretty soon. I put my excitement level at a 7 out of 10. Looks good. Everything I hear about is good. I just haven't seen the first 2 Creed films. I've only seen Rockies 1 through 4, so I can't get super excited for a movie where I haven't seen its first 2 entries.
Okay, fair. I'm going to give it a trailer cash.
Trailer cash, 100%. Yeah,
Got me very excited.
I'll give it a good trailer cash. I'm gonna put it out at 7 just because I
7.
have not.
But 7's all around.
Word?
Because
Yeah.
I think it's fair for all of us is that, we are excited for this movie, but we have
little experience.
Yeah, like
we have
7
John.
hours of Rocky
we have
movies plus.
we have 8 movies to watch before that because we got to start from Rocky 1 and work all the
that'll
way
be
down. So
off screen.
yeah.
Yeah.
But let's move on to the next one, guys, which is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So it is 1969. American archaeologist and adventurer Indiana Jones lives against the backdrop of the space race. Jones is uneasy over the fact that the U.S. government has recruited former Nazis to help beat the Soviet Union in the competition to make it to space. His goddaughter, Helena, I have her last name, one second. Helena Shaw, accompanies him on his journey. Meanwhile, Jürgen Voller, a NASA member and ex-Nazi involved with the moon landing program, wishes to make the world into a better place as he sees fit. So, few notes I have is I do have a couple of concerns.
Same.
Namely, the CGI that we've been seeing for Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
We've seen very little, but just in what we know from things like Star Wars, what they did with Rogue One, and Fast and Furious did a pretty decent job with Paul Walker. But
One
you
of the
still
few examples.
they did a good job, but you still
they
had to do it right.
Yeah, 100%.
But just a little concerned with that. One of my other concerns is Harrison Ford is he's getting old. He's an older guy.
Old.
And they've got his character doing a lot of action scenes. And I said to you guys before we started, I feel like Harrison Ford's getting to the point where he needs to kind of, in a lot of his action roles that he's done, start passing the reins almost.
Yes,
take like the supporting actor role.
He said
almost.
this will be his final indie film. We obviously have to take that with a grain of salt. I hope it'll be his last indie film.
Right.
I hope this is just a solid end to the franchise. It's actually bringing in Logan director and Ford v Ferrari director James Mangold. And Logan,
love James Mangold. Fantastic director.
Yep. And James Mangold said it'll be a little bit similar to Logan in that this is a former hero who has trouble reconnecting with how the world has changed around him. So I like that. That sounds like a good premise, and it sounds like it could be an ending point for the indie movies, which I hope it will be, personally.
That brings me to one thought on this movie, guys. What do we think? Are we going to see the death of Indy in this movie?
I don't think so.
No. I think he's
No
going to
one
pass
Harrison
the
Ford,
torch.
though.
I think he's going to pass the
know.
torch to the goddaughter, Helena. I think all of us can agree. We would have loved if he passed it to Shia LaBeouf's mutt in Indiana Jones 4.
Yeah. No,
I like Shia LaBeouf in that movie. I don't know why he gets hate for his role.
I thought he did a good
I
job.
honestly think he could have taken the reins too, honestly. Upon rewatching that movie, say what I will about the sequel, I think, we watched it again recently, and I definitely consider it more of a mixed bag compared to what my earlier opinion of it was. But I don't think that Shia LaBeouf was a major problem that I had with that movie. I think he was a perfectly good, a decent performance, and could have taken the role on from there.
I agree.
Had enough charisma to carry his own film. In my
You know
opinion.
what? You know what I think they could do well if they were to take it into another Indiana Jones movie. Fine, pass it off, pass the hat off to Helena Shaw, who's, by the way, she's going to be played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Don't know who that is.
I don't either. I haven't seen her in a lot. But pass the torch to her, and if they do another sequel, bring Shia LaBeouf back and give him.
I don't think
they will never. I doubt they'll ever do that.
Shia LaBeouf back to these movies, and that's whatever. It's fine. But they do bring some. They bring back Salah, played by John Rhys Davies,
My boy.
who's Indy's. It's his bearded Egyptian excavator friend / sidekick.
Yes, in the third movie, gets the
in
camels
the first
from
and the
his
third
brother.
one. Yep, he finally gets the camels, and apparently that's one of his favorite characters to play. He loves that he's back for this role. He says that he thinks he was a lot of the success of 1 and 3. A little bit egotistical, but that's fine.
He probably did a good job in 1.
No,
He had a bigger role in 1 than he did in 3.
Dead in 3. It also adds famous actors Antonio Banderas and Toby Jones as allies of Indy, and Boyd Holbrook, who is the villain in Logan, will play a Nazi villain in this movie.
You're also missing a very big actor who's playing a villain, Mads Mikkelsen,
I know.
playing a
I
Nazi
did forget
scientist
about
working
that.
for
Mads
NASA.
Mikkelsen,
Yep.
great actor,
So-
great Bond villain.
Yeah.
He is a Bond villain. Yep.
So I'm gonna start this one off with 100% a trailer cash.
Trailer cash, I agree.
Excitement, probably a 7.5 out of 10.
That's what I had, 7.5.
You know what? Going into there's a lot of mixed things that bring about concern for me. Specifically the CGI portion. Just knowing how Disney has handled CGI recreations of their characters in the past. But that being said, with James Mangold at the helm of this movie, I definitely feel a little bit better going into it. So I'm gonna give this movie a solid 8.5 on cash. Yeah.
Yeah, on cash.
On cash.
I like it.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next one, guys. The Flash. Barry Allen, also known as The Flash, travels
Also known as
back
Ezra
in.
Miller.
Yeah.
Also known as what?
Also known as child groomer.
All right. Well,
apparently.
we're not talking
Allegedly.
about. We're talking about the movie. We're not talking
We're
about the
not
actor.
going into any allegations.
The Flash travels back in time to prevent his mother's murder, which traps him in an alternate reality without metahumans. He must enlist the help of Batman and a Kryptonian prisoner, Supergirl, from alternate realities in order to save this world from the restored General Zod and return to his universe. So, when I watched the trailers, guys, honestly, this got me very excited. I loved seeing that General Zod was back. I've never
Michael
even
Shannon plays him.
personally,
Yeah, no,
I've
Michael
never
Shannon
even
was a
Shannon's
nice
a good actor.
welcome
I've
return.
never even
Yep.
seen Man of Steel personally,
neither.
and this got me excited seeing him come back. I think it's a good idea to have the two Flashes. They have them split. I think that's going to be a cool vibe. I like the fact that they're bringing back two Batmen, Ben Affleck.
At least 2.
At least two. There could be more.
Yeah.
I heard there's a
there
possibility George Clooney shows up.
I heard some rumors about Christian Bale showing up.
And
I feel like a lot of people are saying that because of the scene with the motorcycle.
Bat pod.
Yeah.
But they showed us part of that in the trailer where my personal opinion, you could almost 100% tell that it's Ben Affleck.
Well,
That's just my opinion though.
That brings me to my one gripe about this. It does seem like with the Flashpoint, it seems they're relying a lot on some Batman carrying going on
which
here.
I'm fine with. I hope
Which
it-
is fine,
I hope
yeah,
it's
it
less. I hope
definitely
it feels
can.
less than a Flash movie and more like a Batman movie.
Well,
I
was
hope
gonna
it
say-
feels more like a DC
Like,
Universe
yeah, yeah.
movie.
I
'cause
was gonna
that's
say-
really what the Flashpoint comic originally
I
was.
like the vibe that they're
That's-
doing in
that's
that
what
they're
I hope
not
it is.
fully following Flashpoint because they're having two Batmen who are both Bruce Wayne, and they're taking like more of like they're not being like the one from Flashpoint who uses guns. Like it's still going to be
We're
your
gonna get
classic
different
Batman.
takes on Batman too in this.
You know, I love Michael Keaton. I think he's going to do a
Love
great job
Michael
coming
Keaton,
back.
yeah.
Michael
How could
Keaton's
you not love
honestly-
Michael Keaton? He's the man.
in the cow. Man.
I think
Legendary
it's an
Batman. I'm
interesting.
I am Batman. Yeah.
I think it's an interesting call, and we're gonna have to see where it goes with doing Supergirl instead of Superman.
I think they can make it work.
It's all right.
I think they
it's
can make it work.
I do wish they, you know me, I'm a stickler with like source material and everything. I do wish they made her blonde like she should have been in the comics, but
But they're
I get
rebuilding
that
DC from
I
here
get
after
that they're
this.
doing a whole parallel with Clark type of scenario, so it can work. I don't really have too much of an issue.
Well, also
with it.
now with what James Gunn's doing, they can do this, and they're rebuilding the universe first
He's
from here.
resetting the universe.
We could have a blonde
after this.
Supergirl a year
right
from now.
after.
And not only that, but one thing I would hope for this movie, and I know it's a long shot because people have been trying to get this together for a while, but there is a little bit of hope. Maybe we can get our boy Grant Gustin to show up.
That would be great. I would love
Listen,
that.
so
Let's
here's
be
the
honest,
thing.
yeah,
I'm calling it right now.
Take it away, Sean.
Grant Gustin is 100% going to be in this movie.
Oh, 100%.
My opinion, because
I'm down.
in Crisis on Infinite Earths, on the CW's version of The Flash, Arrow, all of their shows,
Arrowverse.
we had Ezra Miller show up as the Flash. Brief cameo, literally, I think it was like a minute and a half. Even if they do just that with Grant Gustin, I'm fine with it.
And I'm sure Grant Gustin 100% would be down to do it. He loves
100%.
playing the
And
character.
also, just another reason why I think final season of The Flash is wrapping up now. It's probably going to be
Perfect way to
over.
spread
like a
buzz.
perfect goodbye.
Probably
or
going to.
something.
I think it's. I want to say it's 10 episodes. I'm not 100%, but they did a shorter final season just
They're
like they
doing
did
the
with
Red
Arrow.
Death and
They are, but
yeah.
they're doing it with Batgirl.
Well, we can't talk too much about
we're not
that.
gonna go
but
too in-depth on that,
If you guys
but-
are interested in listening to that, we might be able to cover The Flash at some point in the future.
But the
But then they ruined it with We Are the Flash, so then it might
No,
not
we
be
could get-
great.
We're
all
The
right,
Flash.
all
Hold
right.
on, I'm going to go get some milk. I'll be right back. Oh, we got the milk.
All right, we'll save that for the Flash episode. But I have a feeling they're going to do a very similar thing. He shows up for like a minute and a half. The Flash is going to be just about wrapped up by the time that the Flash movie comes out. So we'll have to see. But the other thing I've written down, which we are filming this episode after we filmed our last two episodes, which were Band of Brothers, which Ron Livingston is a very important part in. And he's Cull's boy that
My
we
boy,
learned.
I love Ron Livingston.
He is going to be replacing
actor.
Billy Crudup as Henry
I
Allen.
like Billy Crudup too. I like.
He was good. I saw
like
him
too.
in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah,
and
he's
he
good.
did a good job.
He's good.
But
Judging by how he compares in look-wise to Ezra Miller, too, I feel like he would be a
looks
good
like he
fit
fits
for that type
Yeah.
of Henry Allen in this universe.
Ron Livingston's a good actor. I'm hyped that he's going to play Henry Allen. I
But-
was excited to see that too. Sean.
what do we think, guys? Let's start with Tom. Trailer cash or trailer trash, and give us your excitement rating.
This one's a tough
It's
one
tough
for
for me,
to pin
too.
down because DC has been so up and down in terms of quality for me as of late. I do see the potential in them making this their big reset movie to finally wipe the slate clean on the growing pains of the early DCEU.
Right.
But at the same time, too, I do know with I'm not giving my opinion on it, but there was with the recent controversy with Ezra Miller and everything like that, a lot of that stuff can break into the filmmaking process.
It can kind of stain the film forever too, even if it's a good movie. Unfortunately,
it's shooting itself in the foot out of the gate. There's a lot of things that can help them heal and get back on their feet, but only time will tell us at this point. So I'm gonna give it a solid 7.5 on cash.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's trailer cash because it's a good trailer. I loved having the Batman in it, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm not really too excited for this movie. My excitement level is only 5 out of 10.
All right.
Honestly, I'm gonna give a second take here. Actually, 6.5, because I think it could be. I think the way that it's what it's got set up for it, it could go either be good or it could be mediocre, and hopefully it surprises me and it ends up being
agree. I hope
one of
it
the best,
surprises me too.
one of the best
I agree.
blockbusters of the year.
I agree.
Because we could really use some good DC product out there.
So here's
I
the thing.
totally agree, Tom.
So here's the thing, guys. I'm giving it a trailer cash, but this trailer sold me. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 on the excitement.
That's
All right.
I'm gonna be honest. Ezra Miller, again, he's got his shit going on. I feel like this movie can still be great regardless of that. And we talked about this a little bit. Once this movie's over, DC doesn't have to deal with him. But
Facts.
I have a feeling, regardless of what he did, his acting in the past has been
Solid, I would say.
at least solid, to say the least.
I know, with this, there's a whole lot to unpack with the Snyder Cut, but I thought the way that they portrayed him in the Snyder Cut of Justice League was a pretty well-rounded character arc.
Right. But, and then just like we said, Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck, we got other great actors in it.
Yep.
So just it's also the first DC movie besides maybe James Gunn's Suicide Squad that really got me this excited.
Yeah.
Justice League did not get me this excited. Not even really the Snyder Cut got me this excited. Got to give it a 9 out of 10. I'm very excited to see what this movie can do.
And this thing can be the real fresh, clean slate that we can get. Possibly
it could be the jump
good
point.
future for DC, and I believe me, we need that.
Like
right
I said,
now.
I'm hopeful that it is that for DC. 100%.
Right. So let's move on to the next one, guys. So now we're talking about Air, which is the Jordan movie.
Word.
Sonny Vaccaro, a shoe salesman at Nike, works to sign rookie Michael Jordan to a deal to wear their shoes. The few things I just have, my personal opinion, I'm very excited for this movie because it hits home for me personally, being a sneakerhead a little bit. I have at least one pair of Jordans 1 through 5 at home, and it's got a pretty solid cast. Again, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Viola Davis, Chris Tucker, Jason Bateman. So, what do you guys think?
Yeah. So, what's it called? So, so Matt Damon, Sonny Vaccaro, Ben Affleck, who directs this. I love Ben Affleck's directing. He's directed 4 feature films before this.
He's also playing the CEO, right?
Yeah, he's playing
the
Nike
chairman.
CEO and co-founder Phil Knight. Yeah.
Right.
Who's what's it called? Yeah, who's still alive and still extremely rich. A lot to do with
Billionaire.
this. So anyway, so the other 2 movies I've seen that Ben Affleck has directed were he also starred in. It was The Town.
Yep.
Fantastic movie.
Yep.
And Argo, which was a very good movie. Very
good movie.
So anyway, so Ben Affleck and Matt Damon worked on this project together. They helped write it, and this was the first time that they worked on a project together since what's it called? The Last Night. But this feels more so like their first real joint project since Good Will Hunting, which was a long time ago, and we know how well that turned out.
This was their first. That was the breakout duo that made their career. So.
Exactly, they were in their young 20s when they did that. So, like you said, it also has a good cast. Otherwise, we got Viola Davis playing Jordan's mother. Jason Bateman's in it, Marlon Wayans, and Chris Tucker finally gets a big role again. Happy for Chris Tucker in a big role. Love Chris Tucker. One downside I have about this movie is the character of MJ himself, who's obviously going to be a strong focus of this movie, will not be portrayed in the film. I'm thinking it's probably because MJ himself doesn't want a different actor playing him because he's a very ego-centered man.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm very excited for this. My excitement level is 8.5 out of 10, and it releases April 5th. Definitely going to see it.
Right on. I'm going to give it a trailer cash.
Trailer cash, 100%.
Excitement level, probably about an 8 out of 10. Also very excited. To me, it gives off, for some reason, for me, it's giving off similar vibes to Ford versus Ferrari. Maybe because Matt Damon's in it, but I also think just like the way it's filmed looks very similar.
Potentially.
But, yeah, very excited.
Yeah, I you know what I get more of a founder type of vibe off of this.
It also does give that. I
hope
agree.
it doesn't go necessarily. Obviously we can't. It's based off the. It's pretty much not adapted at all. It's gonna be pretty true to the history, correct?
I mean,
it seems like it,
people say
true.
that, but you got to keep in mind with all movies, they always add on something to bring, drama, action,
but they're using
whatever.
real people. Like they're gonna try.
Andrew Garfield smashes a laptop in the middle of the movie, or something like that.
I don't think Andrew Garfield.
But what do we think, Tom? Trailer cash?
I think it could be a good trailer cash. I think If who do we have as the director on this?
Ben
one?
Affleck, bro.
Ben Affleck.
He's directing it and starring in it.
And we got Matt Damon as. Is he an executive producer on this?
He was a co-writer, pretty sure.
Okay, so knowing that duo is going to be working together on this movie just
a lot of confidence.
Inspires a lot of confidence. Right. I'm going to give this a solid 9 on cash.
All right,
word.
Yeah.
Fuck with that, Tom.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like I said, the only reason I took some away is because MJ himself is not going to be in the movie, and it's called Air when they're Air Jordans. Like they're going to mention.
They should have just called it Jordan.
You know what I mean? Like just that fact just takes away from it for me just a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's okay. They're gonna focus on his parents. They're gonna focus on the story of Nike. I think it's gonna be a really good movie.
I think they are gonna have someone play him, but you're not gonna see his face because in the trailer you see like a back. They're probably gonna do like one
something
of those
like that,
like what they do with like presidents a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Movies
just
and stuff.
the back.
But we got 3 more trailers to talk about real quick.
Word.
Next one, Transformers: Rise of the Beast. In the year 1994, a pair of human archaeologists from Brooklyn come into an ancient conflict through a globe-trotting adventure with the Autobots that ties in with 3 factions of the Transformers race. So one of the really only notes I had on this, I'm excited for this movie, but it's got a really strange cast in my opinion. Just people you wouldn't think would be in the same movie, and it could be confusing for some people, especially like kids, which obviously this movie's going to pull towards a little bit, with having 4 different factions of Transformers. So we have the Autobots first with Peter Cullen, obviously Optimus Prime. Pete
Not to be confused
Davidson.
with me.
Yeah, not to be confused with our Colin. We have Pete Davidson playing an Autobot called Mirage, who is, just from what I know, he's somewhat a big character in like Transformers TV and stuff, but it's just odd seeing Pete Davidson play him, and the little bit of his voice we heard in the trailer.
In the Super Bowl trailer, yeah.
It works, but I was still like, you still hear it's Pete Davidson, you're like, oh my god, like, you just don't see him playing at all. Like,
Yeah, he doesn't
my
have a hero Optimus speech.
it's not
voice
even that.
behind him.
In my opinion,
I am Optimus Prime.
Tom, do Pete Davidson's voice now.
I am Optimus Prime.
no, that's
his
that's kind of how he talks.
How's
He's
everybody
like,
doing tonight?
He's like, what's up? I'm Mirage.
He's like, I'm from Staten Island. I smoke weed every day.
My father was an Autobot.
But it's just, I always think of like, the voice actors in Transformers movie aren't normally like, big faces that are normally live action actors.
Right. Yeah.
We also have Liza Koshy, who, if most of you don't know her, it's because she's not a big actress. She's big from Vine when that was a big thing. Just, big
Word.
social media like influencer, I guess. She's supposed to be playing RC. We have
That would be interesting.
We have Cristo Fernandez. I believe he was in CSI, if I read it correctly. He's supposed to be playing another big Autobot whose name I'm forgetting right now. This is going to annoy the crap out of me.
Come on, Sean. You're the guy who knows all the names.
No.
Sure, do you want me to talk about some more of the voice cast while you try to think of it?
Yeah.
All right. So we've got Ron Perlman driving the cast to voice Optimus Primal,
Leading the Maximals.
who if you see in the trailer, he's the gorilla.
Yes. So the Maximals are Autobots that in the shows are from the future, but for some reason they don't transform into futuristic things. They just transform into animals.
Gotcha. We have Peter Dinklage coming in to voice Scrouge, who is the leader of the Turokins. And
You're killing it on pronouncing these things.
I'm not pronouncing them
He's
well.
playing Scourge.
Oh, okay.
Leader of the Terrorcons.
Sounds better, Sean. And he transforms into a semi-truck.
Yes.
This is no longer directed by Michael Bay. He didn't direct Bumblebee, but he's directed all the main Transformers movies. He's still a producer on this, but it's going to be directed by Stephen Copel Jr., who directed Creed 2.
Okay. Going back to Creed here, I see.
Yep.
We got that
Creed in
Coppola family blood in there, huh?
I guess so. And also, we're gonna have Bumblebee back in this movie.
Yes, I didn't say him, but it's because we don't have a
We
voice
don't have a
actor
voice.
for
He
him.
doesn't have a voice.
So
Yeah.
Cristo Fernandez is playing Wheeljack, who I guess in the shows was another big Autobot.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be like the scientist, mechanic for them.
Yeah,
he's also
one of the games.
He's in the third one. He's the one with like the glasses.
Yeah, he's
that
the
gets his head-
Einstein guy,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So-
and then he gets murked. So
So we're gonna have to see what happens with
But
this.
so did I'm pretty sure RC died in the third one.
She
too.
died in the second one. She goes into the desert. She's like, "Look, we found Sam," and then she just gets hit by a
Just
bomb.
goes to show you that this will be a brainless, fun type of movie.
I think
and
they're
they've
trying to
already
reset
announced
the
two
Transformers.
sequels. Yeah, it's a new cast. They're already gonna.
Even though these are taking place obviously years before the original three, I think they're trying to almost reset the Transformers a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Last few actors, we have John DiMaggio playing Stratosphere, which is going to be a gigantic.
I love Stratosphere.
He's going to be a gigantic AC-130 that carries the Autobots wherever they want to go.
That's badass as fuck.
And if you know the name John DiMaggio, it's because he plays Jake from Adventure Time. So again, this cast is just like kind of all over the place.
100% all over the place.
And then finally, I have Michelle Yeoh, who not major actress that I knew. She's apparently in Crazy Rich Asians, which was like that big movie.
I didn't fuck with that movie.
And she was the aunt in Shang-Chi, which I know you guys didn't see. I saw a pretty solid movie. She's going to be playing another member of the Maximals that is unnamed at the time. And then the last faction is the Predacons, which are just Decepticons that turn into animals. So it's a little all over the place. I'm still excited for this movie. I'm going to give it a trailer cash. Excitement level, probably a 7 to a 7.5 out of 10.
I have a trailer cash. I have a 7 out of 10 excitement. There are definitely some things about this that worries me. I've seen every Transformers movie. I wouldn't say any of them has necessarily disappointed me. They're just stupid fun movies.
Yeah.
Like
they all have their moments.
You can't take the plot seriously really at all, but you can still have fun with them no matter what age you are, in my opinion. And it'll probably be more of the same.
Right.
Yeah, I got a take of 6, but still trash.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it's probably going to be a little bit of both, and I'm probably going to enjoy the hell out of it either way, just because of the mindless fun that these
We also
movies
just
usually
have
bring.
funny moments in the theater because when we saw Bumblebee, you took like 40 posters and brought them home.
Transformers is like an amusement park ride. You go in, you watch it once with your friends,
And then you take 40
then
posters and you steal them and bring them
Yeah,
home.
then you wait another 5 years before the prices go down. I mean, after the prices go down, and then you fucking watch it again.
Do you still have those posters?
No. Maybe. There's got to be around here somewhere.
You never know. All right.
Let's move on.
Vintage
Well,
collector's
forward.
items.
Next one we have the second to last Guardians of the Galaxy 3. The Guardians of the Galaxy are adjusting to life on Nowhere, but when parts of Rocket's past surface, Peter Quill must lead the Guardians on a dangerous mission to protect him that could lead to the team's dissolving. The few notes I have is that my hopes is that this is going to be a great but unfortunately sad goodbye for Dave Bautista, who has said this is going to be his last Marvel movie playing Drax, as well as, in my personal opinion, I have a feeling Rocket will end up dying in this movie. So
One
also,
more of them is probably going to
also
die.
Bradley
Probably
Cooper.
Rocket. Yeah.
And then I also have that Will Poulter will be playing Adam Warlock, who I think a lot of people are excited to see if he can, do the role some service.
Yeah,
And
I've heard he's been getting into great shape for this role too.
Yeah.
His design for it in the trailer looks pretty sick too.
Well,
like, the
and
way they got him makeup, costume design. looks
I
really
have an
good,
interesting
I think.
note now because I was playing the Guardians of the Galaxy game a while back on PlayStation, and apparently Adam Warlock in some continuities, things like that, has the Soul Stone attached to his
green
head.
one,
that was his
The orange one.
people
Oh,
were
the orange one? Where
people were theorizing around him
So,
making a debut
maybe there's
in
a-
Infinity War at one point.
Well,
but
maybe there's a possibility of it coming in this movie because, or actually, I guess not because Thanos destroyed all the stones, but that was one of the ones they didn't really find right off the bat in.
it's very clear
Infinity
they're
War.
setting him up to be a very big threat / ally, depending on how they.
Yeah, we're
write
gonna
Well,
it.
have to
that's
see
the
what
thing.
happens.
All of the Guardians' former threats kind of become their allies and part of the larger Guardians.
Yeah,
Somewhat, some of them.
kind of. Yeah.
But they also they just completely
die.
destroy
Or they just
them,
completely
like
destroy
Ronin
them.
or
Yes.
the dad.
As Marvel villains
Kurt
go.
Russell. Yeah.
And then the final note I have, just personally, is I'm very interested to see what they do with the actual main villain, who is the High Evolutionary, played by Chukwudi Iwuji.
What?
I know he was one of the agents in Peacemaker with John Cena.
Where
Did
you
pretty
from?
good in that, so I have a feeling he's gonna.
I haven't checked it out. I heard it's good though.
Word. I mean, yeah. So this, I still want to watch the holiday special because I heard it directly precludes the event in Guardians 3, so that James Gunn didn't have to explain some stuff at the beginning. You could do a little bit of
explanation beforehand.
and the fun holiday special, then get right into Guardians 3. But anyway, brings back all the movie cast members. They say one last ride. They hint that at least one of them's going to die. Like we said, Drax being the most likely. We're going to get a look into Rocket's dark backstory, see how he was created. I'm super excited for this. This is a Phase 5 movie I'm 100% going to watch. It's trailer cash, and I'm at a 9 out of 10 excitement level.
All right. I am also at a trailer cash. Excitement level 8.5 out of 10.
I am at an excitement level solid 8 cash.
All right. So we have our
Or trash. Maybe.
Whoa.
Who knows?
I
I got a very complicated opinion on Marvel.
So we have.
so do I, but I still love the Guardians
Guardians.
movies, and I'm going to follow them. That's my take.
Yeah, I mean, they got James Gunn attached to it, which is a good sign, and the original cast is in there. So, I mean, it's all depends on how they work it in.
Yep.
You know?
So let's wrap it up with our final trailer from the Super Bowl, Fast 10. Dominic Toretto must protect his crew and family from Cypher, who has now joined forces with Dante, the son of drug kingpin Hernan Reyes, seeking revenge for his father's death. So anyone who saw Fast 5 knows the crew killed Hernan Reyes.
The crew didn't directly kill him. It was actually Owen Shaw who was the one who shot him instead of bringing him in.
Oh,
it was
true.
Deckard's brother, Owen Shaw.
Word.
But what's his face? Doesn't matter to Jason Momoa's character. He's
took it
he's after
personal.
revenge after Dom and his crew anyway.
Yep. So notes I have, Jason Momoa could be very interesting as Dante. We're just going to have to wait and see. I am very excited for Alan Ritchson, who is going to be playing Agent Ames, the new leader of Mr. Nobody's agency. who very similar to Scott Eastwood's character, Little Nobody.
Who might be back too.
Who could be back, we're not sure yet, from Fast 8. Does not think too fondly of Dom and the crew and how they do things. We're also going to have Brie Larson playing Tess, a rogue agent from the agency who works with the crew and who apparently has strong connections to the franchise. So this is something I kind of wanted to ask you guys. What do you think could be the connection for Brie Larson's character to the franchise? They're making it sound like she has had a connection to the franchise, even though this is her first movie.
She's probably like Jacob, like John Cena's character, probably like his ex-girlfriend or something.
That's what I thought personally, because Jacob worked for the agency.
Right.
She's working
or she's
for the
going to be
agency.
related to the Shaws, one of the Shaw brothers.
I don't
Deckard
think
Shaw.
that because she's American.
True, yeah.
The other
British.
thing I was thinking,
right.
which if they do this, I'm not going to lie, I will be a little annoyed, is they're not saying her last name. What if it's O'Connor?
I hope not.
I also hope not.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the ties to the former family thing is...
it's getting a little bit like
It's getting a little bit flanderized.
Yeah,
Let's be honest, guys.
No, yeah, 100%.
This is why I'm probably going to be the one to give sadly the harshest take on this. I'm just going to get it out so we can rip it off like a Band-Aid.
That's fine.
I'm going to give it a solid 6.
Okay.
And trash ? Because I feel like it's very hard. 9 really pushed the edge of like, all right, we got a formula down and we're going to space now and obviously we're pushing as far as we can go with it. I'm interested in to see how they'll take this.
I'm hoping this brings it back in a little bit.
I hope that this becomes a solid wrap up. If it does,
it's not the wrap up.
11 is supposed to be the
11
last
is going to be the
again,
finale.
another red flag.
No, I agree.
The one other thing I wanted to just say personally that is gonna lower my rating just slightly is just from the trailer and obviously from all of us seeing 9, I don't like that the movies have kind of taken a step back from the cars. Obviously, yes, the whole time they're driving, they're using cars, but the first few movies were all about, racing, customizing your car. NOS was the big thing for almost all of them. And does it come back most of the time? Yes, but like those were like the key points of
Engine
those
kits
movies.
and stuff
Obviously,
like
they were doing heists. It was still
was
about
early 2000s.
It was still about
different.
family,
That
but they
double shot of
weren't.
NOS.
It was still about family, but they weren't constantly saying it.
Right.
But the main thing people were going to for those movies the first time you're watching it was the cars, and I just feel like it's not about that as much anymore.
It's barely about that anymore. You're 100% right.
You still see it, but it's not, like I said, it's not about the custom.
not about that, though,
Like
you know what I
Fast
mean?
9.
Yeah, it's
Fast 9, you see Han pull up in, it was the orange supercar. I forget what it was.
Yeah, I know the car.
I think it was a McLaren. I'm not 100%. But, like, that's the point. It's like you don't even know what cars they are because they don't talk about them anymore.
Facts.
Like, the first few movies, they're talking about the Skyline. They're talking about the Charger. They're talking about his Challenger. Like, they're talking about all the cars. Even the beginning of Fast 8. Your Chevy Impala? Like, there's always something about the cars.
Facts.
And 9 just took that step back, and it looks like 10 might do the same thing. So, I'm still going to give it a trailer cash. The three of us have always been big fans of the Fast movies. Excitement, probably going to give it a 9 out of 10 just because, again, the Fast movies have always got me that hype at that time of the year. It's time to see the Fast movies, but we're just going to have to wait and see what happens with this one.
Yeah, I just want to add on a couple more things. So we've got Jason Statham. He's coming back as Deckard Shaw. He's going to be on Dom's crew, former villain. Helen Mirren comes back as his mother. Sung Kang comes back to play Han again. Charlize Theron comes back from Cypher from 8, who's working with the villain Dante.
And 9.
And 9. Was she a 9? I didn't remember that. They gave her a very minimal role. It seems like she has a bigger role.
She kept going from like jail cell to jail cell, and then Jacob let her out, and she flew a drone in the last scene.
Got you. Okay. Michael Rooker is coming back as Buddy, who's Dom and Jacob's mechanic friend.
Yep.
Potentially Gal Gadot comes back as Giselle.
That's going to be a nail in the coffin for Tom.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is where I want to have a little debate. So, it doesn't matter because they seem to always bring back dead characters. So, is this effective or ineffective fan service?
Before you answer, Tom, I have a question that's going to add on to that. So, the most recent one they brought back was your favorite character in the series, Han.
Which creates a huge plot hole in the franchise.
It does.
It does, but the way they do it is they seal up the plot hole, but it's like there's no reason to do it.
It's a shoddy patch job at best.
I feel like they explain it, but I'm saying I feel like it doesn't need to happen.
Just because it's explained, it literally counteracts multiple previous sequels in the franchise.
No, I'm not.
You know,
I'm
by
not
bringing
denying
Han
that.
back, and I make no mistake, I love Han as a character, but by bringing him back and bringing Shaw in as a family member,
ally.
there's just two different kinds of ways you can go in with that, and they decided they go both. It just doesn't make sense.
No,
to
I'm
me.
not denying that, but I'm saying I don't see them bringing him back as a plot hole. I see them bringing him back as a wrong move. A plot hole is like you're bringing him back, you're leaving things open. They're not, because they're saying, he survived because of this and this and this, but it's like there was no reason to do that. Just leave it out.
Well, and
that's
it
what I'm
takes
getting
away-
at more of.
You know, this constant revival of dead characters, it gives a sense of like it's like a Dragon Ball complex in the sense that death doesn't have any permanence anymore.
You
How
take
many
these
are we on
movies-
now?
You
3?
take these movies less serious because of this.
Yeah, and honestly, we want, at least in my personal opinion, I wanted them to go back to basics, back to the classic way that Fast and Furious movies always had been for us in the early days.
About the cars.
Yeah, it's about the
Yeah.
cars.
I mean, this one has an estimated $340 million budget, which is the 5th highest all time. So, they're going to go all out with it. It's got a really good cast. They're bringing back everyone who should make this movie work. Justin Lin was the director of many previous Furious movies. He has stepped down due to creative differences. He's still got writing and production credits. So this one's directed by Louis Leterrier, who directed the 2008 Incredible Hulk. It teases one of the main characters may die, but we know that, like we said, they'll probably just come back or, won't fully die. And we're going to have another sequel anyway, which supposedly will be the last one planned in the main franchise. But obviously we'll see about that. I'm so excited for it. None of them have disappointed me yet. I was nervous going to 8. I was nervous going to 9. Still enjoyed both of them pretty thoroughly. So my excitement level here is a 9 out of 10. I'm calling it trailer cash. I really like the long trailer and everything that they teased in it personally. Not every single detail, but majority of it.
Right. All right. So that wraps it up for us on Trailer Trash or Trailer Cast. This is probably going to be a running segment for us.
We'll see if we want to bring it back. but
Whether we can do it as a smaller segment for like one trailer,
One or
or if
two
we could do
trailers,
it like
yeah.
this again, where we get a bunch together.
I think we could do it every other episode. We could do we could work out a schedule where we do
Oh, yeah,
every
we'll
so
see.
often we'll keep up with the latest pop culture news and whatnot.
we want to keep you guys updated on new media.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
And that
So,
we won't spoil.
Keep you guys informed.
So let's do one more quick segment, and then we'll take a quick break.
Quick break
Let's
afterward.
do higher or lower, guys. So,
Word.
Cole, if you want to get Letterbox loaded up for us, and while he's doing that, Tom, if you got an actor you want to do today, I know I have one that
I got one too. I just thought of it.
I'm personally pretty excited to do, because I think this is one that I don't know if I'm gonna even get right. We didn't look these up
No,
this time.
we're not looking them up before.
So, Cole, you gotta load it up.
Yeah.
All right, so mine is gonna be Shaq.
Okay.
And
Shaq.
I have.
My mom said she saw him in a movie the other day. I was
Well,
like,
that's
what?
why. So ready?
What?
So I have 38 movies. What are we thinking? I'm still thinking higher, even though it's 38.
Yeah, he's in a lot of Adam Sandler movies.
Because you also just gotta think, even if it's a guest appearance, still counts.
You usually still get credited. Fuck, it's probably gonna be around there. It's probably gonna be in the 30s or 40s if I had to guess.
I'm going higher.
I'm gonna take the under. Fuck it.
Okay, Tom, higher or lower?
38 for Shaq.
38. I'm gonna say lower.
Okay, let's find out.
And the
Bro, the result is the over. He's in 61.
Let's go.
Damn. Yeah, he's in a lot of Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah, Grown Ups too.
Blended, Jack and Jill. He's in Scary Movie 4. He's in Good Burger. He's in a lot of just basketball movies.
Steel.
Still, he gets credit for a lot of documentaries on basketball teams he's on. But
All right.
it still counts. He's in 61. The over was a lock.
All right.
Okay, the actor I'm going to do here is Michael Fassbender.
Oh,
I'm going to put his over-under at 55.
I'm probably still gonna go over.
I'm also
Michael
going to go
Fassbender is. I'm gonna say over.
over. Word.
All right.
Let's find out.
And I have a candidate for you guys, and we'll go over that in a minute.
Oh, it's close. It is over, but it's 64. So I was
that's
pretty
close.
pretty close. I'm putting my over-under at 55. He was at
Work.
64. We all took the over. We were all correct.
So, my over.
Don't look him up yet. You got to think of the over-under in your head.
I know. I'm just putting the name in.
All right.
My over/under for underrated actors and actresses, Vera Farmiga.
Oh,
How many
Ooh,
movies?
baby. So we're gonna say it is bear with me.
Just you have to think of the
No,
number.
you have to
in your
guess.
head. Don't
You have to
look
make
her
up the number. Don't look up the number
Alright,
because
so-
then you're guessing it right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say a good 20
20.
over under.
I'm saying under.
I'm saying over. I think it's gonna be at least 40. I think it's gonna be at least double 20.
Actually, no. Yeah, I'll go over.
That's bullshit. You can't change your choice.
I didn't change mine. I said
You haven't
No,
even.
I'm
You haven't.
just-
You haven't even given us yours yet.
What?
Are you over or under?
Under. Stay the course.
Sorry.
And the result is.
63. The over was a lot.
Oh, yikes.
Man.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for higher or lower. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be discussing upcoming media for 2023 that the boys are hyped for.
Yes, sir.
Just got done, Chell.
We're back from the break, as usual. So let's jump into the things we're excited for coming in 23. Not out yet because, we're in February.
Upcoming.
Still very early. The upcoming things we're excited for.
I say we let Tom start this because I know one movie coming out this March that he is really excited about, and he rewatched the trailer for right before we started recording.
Yes.
John Wick 4, baby. The greatest action hero of the 2020s. And there's not a lot of competition in that regard, so I feel very confident in saying that.
I would agree.
I'd argue even owns the 2010s, but I've always been a big fan of the John Wick franchise for a long time now. I won't say that I was there in the beginning because I came in around the time that the second one came out.
2017, right? Second one came out.
Second one, yeah, it was like 2017, 2018
Right.
maybe. But this franchise, it's got everything I love about action that has been missing in recent films as of late that I really feel like could be bringing us back into a good era of action heroes in the future, especially with the new gritty style that John Wick brings to the
And
table.
it's got Bill Skarsgård.
And it's got Bill Skarsgård
Ian
in it.
McShane,
And
Lawrence Fishburne.
Donnie Yen, one of the biggest
Yen.
badasses in martial arts filmmaking. So, there's the ceiling is where you place it.
Yeah, should be.
It's
a good
hard
one.
to place where the ceiling is at for that. But yeah, I'm very excited about it. Was very intrigued to see where they would go at the end of John Wick 3. There were certain creative ideas that I initially didn't agree with in the beginning at John Wick 3 upon my initial watch of it, but I do love the franchise in general, and I do like how David Leitch and Chad Stahelski had pioneered this franchise into the Hollywood consciousness. So, with that being said, that is my biggest hype for this coming year.
Word.
Yeah.
10 out of 10? Or 11
10 out of 10. Keanu really fucking kills it. He's a dedicated worker who loves his craft, and at the end of the day, he is not a guy who just comes in to collect a paycheck. He cares about what he's doing, and he wants to make sure that he does it the best as he can. And I think that's a man that you can really respect out there.
I think John Wick is one of those actors, or just one of those people in general who almost
Or
seems
Keanu. You said John Wick, yeah.
Oh, John Wick, my bad.
No, you're
Keanu
good,
himself.
Yeah.
He's one of those people who's almost too good for this world, it seems like.
Oh, yeah,
I've said
yeah.
it no personally,
He's
so I
too
can
nice.
say that for sure, but just seems like too genuinely good of a guy, and we're blessed to have him around, and I'm glad he's got these John Wick movies going. I'm not as big of a fan as Tom, so not super excited. I agree with Tom. 3 did some things that weren't great, kind of strayed away almost a little bit from
It
1
had
and
some
2.
high points,
It definitely
and it had
had
some
good
low
points.
points,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad. It's still a pretty
Yeah.
decent movie, but I love Ian McShane and Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne is
Lawrence
just a
Fishburne's
goat.
return. I hope
Just
that he
a
gets a
goat.
heavy focus in this one.
seems like he
actually,
might. I hope so,
because
too.
I feel like that was the one thing they neglected a little bit that I wish they would have built off of from his performance in the second one.
Word.
So I'm interested in seeing where they go with that. I love Ian McShane. He's a fantastic actor. All the cast coming back. I believe. I'm not certain if Halle Berry is coming back.
Don't think she is. I'm not 100% sure.
But there's already such a colorful cast of characters that you can
don't
draw
need her.
from.
I said we don't need her.
Yeah, we don't need it for this one.
So, I'll say my excitement level 8 out of 10. Sorry, 8 out of 10. Trailer cash. So the trailer looks good.
That's probably like
I'm
7
gonna
out of
give
10.
I'm gonna give a solid 9.5.
Word.
Cash. Sorry, I almost said trash.
And Tom's excited, but he thinks it's trash. Right?
Yeah, but John Wick makes me lose my cool, dude.
Hey, it happens.
Composure's gone.
Another movie I think we're all very excited for, Across the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
Coming out the day after my birthday.
Or we won't tell them when your birthday is.
They're going to know if they just look up the date.
Don't worry, guys. His birthday is beep.
Yeah, this is going to get bleeped. No. Yeah, just very excited for it. We got the sequel to the very well received Into the Spider-Verse, bringing in a lot more spiders.
Yes, sir.
So
bringing in Oscar Isaac to play Spider-Man 99. 2099, sorry,
yeah.
not 99.
Classic character in the comics.
Yes, such a cool suit. My favorite suit, Spider-Man suit,
probably
personally.
one of my favorite, Spider-Man redesigns, from alternate universes that there is. My close third, there's the classic one, which you can't beat, and 2099 is my second, and I would say the third one being the Spider-Verse Miles suit from the first one.
That suit's fire.
Which they do a redesign on this one, which I almost kind of disagree with, because I do love the whole very custom street look of the first.
Spray painted logo and shit.
It's got its own character to it that I really love. That who knows? Maybe they'll give a good reason for why he changes his suit. But Sean, why don't you take us through your thoughts on this?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen the trailers. I feel like don't reveal too much.
They're not too revealing, the trailers at all.
But, just based on how the first one was, still very excited. Excited to see the PlayStation 5 Spider-Man show up. See him at one point, I think, in one of the posters. I think Oscar Isaac's going to do a good job.
100%.
So, overall excitement level, probably a solid 8.5 out of 10.
And not to chime in, but, there's also a running theme here that, one of the things that Spider-Verse I feel like really is changing for, animation in movies in general these days is the style of animation that they got going on. Because there's a blend of 2D, 3D, almost like, crossover. They use a 2D model with they put the 3D model with the 2D printed on top. And a lot of other movies now are starting to take this type of animation style. So it's cool to see that the guys that started it all are coming back, and it looks like a phenomenal movie just off that short trailer that we got. Just to provide an example though, Puss in Boots, I know, is a recent animation that was using that animation style, and it looked, I haven't seen the movie, but based off of what it, the looks and designs are, it does have a colorful pop to it that I think is cool.
So what's your excitement level?
Probably a good 8.
All right. Cool.
Cash.
Yeah, my excitement level is a 9 out of 10. Definitely trailer cash, even though, like we said, these trailers don't really reveal too much. Kind of focuses on Miles' mom, who's played by Lauren Velez. It also brings in Daniel Kaluuya to the cast as Spider-Punk, but it loses Nick Cage as Spider-Noir, who apparently really wanted to come back to the movie, but the studio didn't want him back, which kind of sucks. But I think the movie will still be great without him. I'm pretty excited for it. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, just based off the success of the first one. And honestly, the first one being probably one of my top favorite animated movies of all time.
Right on. All right. Next one I got is Oppenheimer. We know Cole is very excited for this one. I am too, but Cole it seems like is the most excited.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to take this over if that's right with you.
Go for it.
All right, so this is a new Christopher Nolan movie featuring Cillian Murphy in the lead role as Oppenheimer as he attempts to develop the atomic bomb. So apparently Nolan somehow, I don't know how, but he was given permission to test out a real nuke instead of using special effects and CGI in this movie, which is absolutely insane. I don't know how he got permission to do that, but I'm super excited for it. This features one of the most stacked cast of all time. We don't even know what a lot of these actors' roles are going to be yet, and that's totally fine with me. We've got Matt Damon, RDJ, Florence Pugh, Rami Malek, Benny Safdie, Matthew Modine, Jack Quaid, Josh Peck, Gary Oldman, Casey Affleck, and so many more in undisclosed roles. My excitement level for this is an 11 out of 10. This is the movie I'm most excited for in 2023.
No one knows how to pick them, man.
Nolan movies always hit. It seems like he's been taking his time with this. He's perfecting every detail. It's just, it's just gonna be probably a perfect movie, and I can't wait to see it in theaters on July 21st when it releases.
Work. Tom, excitement level, what are we feeling?
Oh, I got a solid 10 on the excitement level here.
Okay.
Is this the first 10 that we got for trailer trash or cash?
I mean, Cullen just gave it
I gave
11.
it 11.
11.
Yeah.
All right, so my 10 just got knocked on its ass, but
It's alright.
no, but it's all right. I am very excited about this movie. You know, Colin already went over it, but the cast, the premise to me alone too excites me a lot because there's a lot of rich history around the era and, you know, events surrounding the creation of the atom bomb that some people might not know about, and I think it's an interesting part of history that doesn't really get explored in film as of this point in time. But, you know, you got Christopher Nolan, you got a stacked cast led by Cillian Murphy, and, you know, I couldn't extend my praise anymore.
Work. All right. I mean, I'm definitely very excited for this movie. I think it's going to be great. Probably not as excited as the other guys, but I'm still very excited. So excitement level 9.5 out of 10.
That's very fair.
Still can't wait to see this. I guess my excitement level is just not through the roof like them because we haven't seen a lot of this. And unlike, Across the Spider-Verse, we don't have anything to draw back like previously to besides Nolan movies.
Right.
But there's nothing that's like on this scale. So
Yeah, no, it's different scale for sure.
So 9.5 out of 10. Hopefully, can't wait to see this movie in July.
Yep, coming out July 21st. Definitely going to see it in theaters, hopefully. First day, first week, whatever.
So then we have The Mandalorian Season 3. Probably I'm the most excited for this one. Just, I feel like the story's finally taking somewhat of a turn from where it was in the first two seasons. First two seasons were all about getting Baby Yoda, Grogu to the Jedi. Now we're mixing it up a bit. It's really about the Mandalorian this time. He's got the Darksaber. There's going to be a civil war. We're going back to Mandalore. Just being a Star Wars fan and hearing all of those things, if you know what they are, that should get you excited. Excitement level for me on this one is easily a 10 out of 10. Maybe an 11 out of 10. Maybe I'll pull a Cullen and give it 11 out of 10.
Oh,
I'm very.
All right, now really taking my balls out. Huh?
I'm very excited to see how this one turns out.
Alrighty. My opinion, I have mixed feelings on season 2 of Mandalorian. There's a lot of good things in there. There's a couple of things that feel a little bit forced on the fan service side. I wonder if they'll help refine the edges on that going forward with this season. I'm hoping for the best because Pedro Pascal is a fantastic actor, fantastic leading man.
100%.
You got a lot of passion and a lot of passionate writers going into this. I believe, is Jon Favreau coming back for this one?
I saw him in an announcement.
If he's 100% if he's not directing them, he's still easily producing.
He's 100% involved.
In some way involved.
And assuming, with Jon Favreau, I'm assuming too, Dave Filoni might be making.
I think it's similar.
points.
He may not be directing directly,
but he's overseeing.
in some way he's
They were
involved.
both hyping it up at Comic-Con, talking about season 3.
Yeah.
They're both heavily involved.
Dave
100%.
Filoni is the new. He's the.
He's the guy. He's the Kevin Feige of the.
He's the Kevin Feige. If you need to make sure you get the story correctly and that it's going to connect to other things, you're going to him.
Yeah. So I got good ideas for how this is going to go, and I honestly hope for the best. I'm going to give it a solid 8.5 cash.
All right. Cool.
So I'm also going to say trailer cash. I enjoyed the trailer. Personally, I still haven't seen season 2 yet or the necessary Boba Fett episodes. But I'm excited to see this. Like we said, all the good points about it. It's, obviously the best new Star Wars thing that Star Wars has going. So they really try to perfect it and try to make sure it's as good as possible. But like we said, maybe a little bit of mix of fan service versus actual story. So that's why my excitement is a little bit down from the other guys. Like I said, I got to catch up on season 2, so I'm at a 7 out of 10.
All right, right on. I just have two last things if you guys want to touch on a little bit. I know a little bit more than you guys, but just personal hype for me. The conclusion of The Last of Us show so far, another Pedro Pascal show. He's been killing it on.
Another Pedro banger.
Anyone who's played the game, you're probably going to watch the show and love it. I never played the game. I didn't know too much about it, and still... Colin said the other day, what draws people in. I don't even really have an
I
answer.
said, what makes it different?
I don't really have an
No
answer.
one has
It's
an
just,
answer
you
yet.
just gotta watch it and you'll know why it's a good show, but have no way of explaining it. It's just like
I don't know.
it's
Anytime
something-
I like a show, I think it's good. I have a way of
All right,
explaining why it's good.
so let's,
That's just me.
So
Yeah.
Cole,
Coming
watch
out
the show.
I'm not just calling out show. I'm calling out anyone who's watched the show and hypes it up. I'm like, all right, so like, what makes it different? What makes it so good? And they just have nothing.
So
to
you
do.
heard it here first. Fuck you.
So
No,
Cole-
just give me a why. That's all.
well, Cole, I'm gonna ask you to watch the show, and once you get up to about, I'm willing
to watch
I'm
it.
at episode 5 right now. I'm gonna ask you if Tom hasn't started it yet to explain that to Tom, and if you can't give him an answer,
All right, we'll see.
Then we're chill. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll
We
see.
just, we just gotta see because
We'll see.
because
Real
every
fans will run this back.
You
Run
said
back
you
this
said it
conversation
yourself.
like a
Every
supercut.
person you have asked hasn't had a straightforward answer.
That's correct.
Every person I have asked hasn't had a straightforward answer because I was like a couple episodes behind. I was like, "How are the new episodes?" They were like, "They're good," and I was like, "Oh, why?"
I mean, that's on you guys. I don't. I always got a reason for why I like something.
it's just been good so far. The acting's like on point.
No, I know the
It's-
acting you've got.
It's
you've
very
got the right
it
guy
gives off
leading
early
it.
Walking Dead vibes, which like I know a lot of people love, but it's doing it in its own way. That's just all I could say about it. So far I've loved it, but for the conclusion of it, the upcoming episodes, excitement for me is probably a solid like 8.5, 9 out of 10.
How many episodes are left?
I believe they're doing 8 episodes again. It
Okay.
might be 10. I'm not 100%,
And they're
but they're
5
only
in.
they're only on 5 right now. So
Gotcha.
we got a little bit more.
I'm gonna abstain from this conversation because I'm the one.
No,
with
that's fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
I'm
said
not
honestly-
giving it a rating out of excitement.
I said honestly, personally, this was probably going to be just my. But
'cause-
the show so far, like I said, I haven't played the game ever, so I didn't have like story. I didn't know the story or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so far, I've still just been like, wow, this is really, I want to keep watching.
Yeah, no,
Makes
no,
sense. No,
and
that
that's
makes sense,
cool, and
100%.
I do hope that it is the quality that you're saying it is.
I
It's
agree.
just for me personally, just because I have no experience with the game and no experience with the show. That's just 2 layers of ignorance that it would be really hard for me to give an informed take for myself.
Right.
But
Yeah.
judging on your take on just watching the show alone, that might give you a little bit of a different perspective than people that are playing the game.
I've heard people who played the game also love the show just as much. I've heard
Oh, right.
critics, audience, everyone just loves it. I just don't know the why yet.
Yeah.
No one can explain it. I bet you if you look at like,
Hopefully
I
someone
bet
out
you
there
if you
can.
look at like top critics, they can't even give you like a solid. It's probably just like it's a good show, man. You gotta check it out.
There's some shit critics not giving a fucking
No,
why
the
of why
fact
they like
that
the
if-
show.
if-
There's some rotten critics.
If like a top known critic can't give like a great explanation, then that just proves like the show just you can't. It's
Then
just
they don't deserve
it's
that
it's
job.
just like it's
and
just
then they're paid off.
no, but it's similar. Like my best comparison, I know you guys haven't really seen this show either, but my comparison would be like the House of the Dragon. Like people, like if you ask like why it's a great show, everyone's just like, oh, because of Game of Thrones. Like Last of Us, it's like, oh, because of the game. Like it's just you're just throwing back the things from the past, like as your real explanation. Besides being like the story's good,
Yeah, I get it, but that's still my point. Like, you're not making anything original or groundbreaking, so why are you giving it like
No, it's-
such a high acclaim or rating?
Because they're
There needs to be a
doing
why.
something
There needs to be
different.
a-
in
New and
the-
shiny, Colin.
there needs to be something else that brings you in versus tying it to something else. That's
I
That's
feel
not
like the
enough
fact
for
I
me,
feel like the
personally.
fact that they're tying it
Yeah.
to something else, but doing that something else differently.
Me personally, I'm not a big fan of video game adaptations in general.
You know me,
So-
I'm normally not either.
Yeah. So, but
Assassin's
so going
No,
into
I
that,
love.
having
But other ones.
having no previous idea on the game itself, which at the same time, like it, people gave it a lot of praise. I was just like, okay, it's another zombie game. I got 5 of those in my collection at that time. So, I'm not the best guy to give a take on this, but I do know one thing. Zombies is a very oversaturated genre these days. So it'd be interesting to see how it differentiates itself from the other zombie series in the future. But that remains to be seen until I, get a proper perspective.
You know what I will say about the differentiate that I actually can somewhat explain?
Yeah.
Is that people are saying it's interesting because yes, like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, zombies could become real one day, but everyone sees like how this infection spreads because it spreads through like fungus and stuff. And when you watch like there's like a quick like 3-minute intro that's like not related to like the whole story. It's like from like the 90s. When you hear that, you're like, holy shit! Like
Yeah.
this could happen, like
Well,
literally.
okay.
And how,
That's
like-
a decent
and then, like,
explanation.
plays
you
on
start
the
learning that the
bioweapon
fungus
fear
can
that
adapt.
human beings naturally have too. And I know there's a whole big thing with cordyceps and stuff like that. I'm not going to go into that because my knowledge on that again is minimal. But there could be a nice little, real world parallel that they, inject into the show. Like I said, it's not my baby. So.
Yep. Last thing I have, again, probably just personal. Tom might, lean towards it more than Call with me. One video game shout out: Star Wars Jedi Fallen Survivor, sequel to Fallen Order, which was probably my favorite game of, I believe it came out in 2019 or 2018.
Yeah, and you actually kind of got me into it too, because I was a bit of a naysayer when I was hearing mixed things about it, and I'm the very critical guy of EA's treatment of the Star Wars franchise, but in recent years they
brought you in.
That's what brought me in.
That's what brought you into playing Battlefront 2.
Yeah, exactly. No, they do have their good points. They may be bullshitters, but you know what? When they fucking correct, they fucking overcorrect.
And listen, I'm gonna be honest. Just like the story of the first one, and their introduction to this new Jedi Cal, he's becoming one of my favorite, like Star Wars Jedi character. I like the ones that kind of just like, not on their own, but like they kind of do their own thing. They're not 100% following like the 100% teachings like Kanan from Rebels and all that. But excitement for this, also probably a solid 9 out of 10.
Yeah. Any big hopes or hoping any new additions into the game that we haven't seen yet? I know there's a whole thing with the whole dual lightsabers.
I love that they're doing that.
Which obviously I'm going to be a fan because I'm the guy that loves the dual lightsabers.
And the other thing that I wanted, they did in the first game, bringing in yellow lightsabers. So I'm pretty much locked in with that. Maybe like a cameo from like a specific, if they do it right, a cameo from a specific character during that time. I'd be surprised if they did it, but I'd be excited. We finally see what happened to Quinlan Voss after Order 66.
That would be very interesting. I think they could go somewhere with that. It all depends on what direction they want to go with it. Do they want to go the safe route and go with some characters that we've seen redone 10,000 times, or do we want to go a little bit different? But I will say this, my personal hopes for this new game is more on the mechanics side of things. I'm hoping, because of how much I loved the boss fights of the last game, the way they were balanced, the way that it worked out with timing and parrying and everything like that, I'm hoping that we get more further refining on that and more of it, because I feel like there was a little bit of a lacking in the number of bosses in the last game. Not that the variations were bad, just in the sheer number. I feel like if they put more of a focus on that, it could have propelled it into a level that I didn't think it could before.
We're gonna have to wait and see. But what excitement level?
Excitement level, I'm gonna give it a solid 8.
All right, right on. Cole, you got anything on it? Personal opinions, anything like that?
No, I did not play the first one. Not going to play the second one. I don't have any newer consoles. The only thing I will say is that I think it needs a Dirge cameo.
Not gonna happen.
Dirge, oh baby!
I don't think not gonna happen.
You could do Dirge as a boss fight and make it work.
I think they're gonna do something similar. I'm pretty sure in one of the trailers I saw a villain that's supposed to be like his species, but it's not gonna be Dirge.
His name is Purge.
Dirge.
I didn't know there was anyone like his species.
Listen,
I'm thinking.
Currently, it sucks to say.
Dirge.
If you listen,
pulling out the real characters.
It's sad to say. If you listen to our Clone Wars episode, you heard the story of Dirge, but I don't think
he's still alive.
Yeah, but I don't think he's canon technically anymore, because
that show's canon.
That show is not. Believe it or not, I looked it up afterwards.
I looked it up too. It's 100% canon.
That show is not canon.
It's 100% canon.
It's not, because the ending of that story is different from the ending of season 7 of the Clone Wars, and they're the same exact timeline.
Yeah, no, there is a little bit of a disparity between those two timelines, but you can. Back in the old days of Legends, you could just pick and choose what you want to keep in your own headcanon, but nowadays it's a little bit different.
But
for other people, not me.
Gonna have to wait and see. But now we got Tom's Thinking Corner.
Tom's Thinking Corner. So I was thinking we could do our own little thinking for ourselves, guys. I was wondering if we could do a little bit of a underrated fight scene showcase.
Arrow versus Prometheus.
Arrow versus Prometheus. Now, Sean, give me a short, brief explanation on why you think that is more on the underrated side of things.
Well, my main reason is because I honestly cannot pick one. There's probably 3 or 4 different times they fight during that season, and I feel like each time they fight, it just adds on more to the story.
All right.
It's very interesting to the final fight they have in the final episode.
Okay.
Don't want to reveal too much for anyone that wants to end up watching season 5 of Arrow.
Okay, I can get behind that. And Colin, how about you yourself?
I think I need a minute with this one. So
All right,
you talk about yours first.
I'm gonna go. Keep it in trend with the CW verse. I'm gonna go with The Thinker versus Argus's Laboratories.
Okay.
The entirety of that scene is just awesome to me. The way that they, shoot it and they do it all in one take, and they really utilize a villain that isn't a speedster to the best of their ability and make him seem like a valid threat to the Flash. I really think that is one of the underrated, not only just scenes, but underrated villains in superhero media.
What?
Yeah.
I'm having trouble. I don't watch too much of the CW verse myself.
Go with any underrated.
No. Go with.
I just want to
Yeah,
react because
I
that was
know.
the first one in my head.
We'll give you a minute too, dude. You don't gotta fucking rush yourself.
Which underrated fight scene? Okay, I actually got one. This one's gonna be way out of left field.
Alrighty,
I'm
I'd
ready
like
for
to
it.
hear
Alright,
it.
so there's a 2004 movie called Thunderbirds. It's based off the 1960s animated British TV show. You'll recognize two of the main actors are actually what's his face? Ben Kingsley plays the villain called the Hood, who has these psychic powers with his eyes. He can basically mind control people. Pretty cool powers. And his brother Bill Tracy is played by Bill Paxton.
I see.
So Bill Paxton. So anyway, so there's a
Underrated actor. Bill
Underrated
Paxton.
actor, yeah, exactly. And this movie's super underrated. I loved it as a kid. It's got Vanessa Hudgens in it, who I had a crush on as a kid. Still might today. Anyway, so there's a fight scene at the end of it where Alan is the son. He has to step in and decide to save his father because Ben Kingsley as the Hood is basically forcing his father into this death hole to die. And what does he do? He steps up to the Hood, steps up to his uncle, steps in and saves his father, and then his uncle actually ends up falling off the ledge. What does he do? He doesn't let him fall to his death, picks up his hand and saves his uncle too. Super underrated moment, super underrated movie, and underrated final fight scene in that movie is pretty fucking good.
All right.
Wow.
Cool beans.
All right. So next thing we got is underrated shout out. Which, Cole, I think you got a pretty solid underrated shout out for us today.
I believe I do. Let me just pull it up.
Someone we all know very well.
Yes. So, our underrated shout-out today is actor Max Casella. Not a household name by any means, but all three of us are relatively familiar with him. I had to kind of remind who he was to Tom and Sean a couple times here, but now they know him as, of course, Benny Fazio from The Sopranos. So he was actually a former child actor who played Vinny on Doogie Howser MD, which was a Neil Patrick Harris show where he was the lead role, and he played a teen doctor, the youngest doctor in the world. And what's his name? Max had a very important role as Neil Patrick Harris's best friend in that show. He actually has to deal with the devastating effects of growth hormone deficiency, which forces him to take drugs to grow, which no longer allowed him to play much younger characters than his age at the age of 27, and his agent ended up dropping him, had to decide whether he wanted to continue acting. But anyway, decided to continue acting. He was the former voice of Daxter in the very highly acclaimed Jack and Dexter video game series, and he's now landed back on his feet with a main role in a very well acclaimed show, only in its first season, Tulsa King, another mob show. And he plays Armand, who is a former NY mobster, and now he's a member of Sylvester Stallone's crew in Oklahoma. So very solid rebound and a very solid career for Max Casella. I really enjoy his acting style. Really brings a lot to each character on the screen, and I just felt like he's dealt with his past sort of hardship, and he's come through it for the better. So all the respect to him.
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely.
Got to catch up on Tulsa King.
I haven't finished Tulsa King yet, but once you see Armand, I think he comes in like episode 3. He's really hyped.
Gotta give
Really
it up to
hyped
Benny
character.
Fazio, especially when his intervention skills are unparalleled.
He gets
Absolutely.
thrown on the table.
All right, let's wrap up, boys, with quick hitters, and then we'll finish off the episode.
Yes, sir.
So, first quick hitters.
I'm doing the first quick hitter. Yes, sir. So the first quick hitters is gonna be, what was your favorite movie from the year 2007 as a kid, and now looking back, what's your favorite movie released in that year today?
2007 as a kid?
As a kid.
Oh, that was my year, baby.
There's a lot of good
I've got one.
I-
Easy
Sorta-
one.
children movies from that year.
Don't do this to me.
Tom's probably gonna take it.
Yeah,
No, I'm not gonna-
No, wait,
Let
let me ask. Does yours begin with an M?
No.
All right, then mine is gonna be Meet the Robinsons.
Oh, Meet the Robinsons.
Whoa.
I actually didn't think about that, but that is a really good one.
Love that movie.
You know-
the ending song.
Little Wonders. Rob
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And when you bring up 2007, the first thing that comes to mind for me is Spider-Man 3, baby.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
sir.
love that movie as a kid.
Yes, sir. As a kid, that movie blew my mind. I saw the trailer, and I was instantly stuck. Like, 3 villains, 1 movie? This is gonna be fucking amazing. How could they possibly mess it up? I
You
got a
were
little
thinking
bit
that
of a
as a
different
kid?
opinion. Yeah, I got a little bit of a different opinion of it as an adult. I still think it's a good movie. A lot of people give it flack that I don't think it deserves. I think there's a lot of good stuff in there that kind of gets overshadowed by the pacing issues. But 2007 me couldn't have loved this movie anymore.
Same.
I swear to God.
Work.
Yeah, Spider-Man 3 was also my choice, but I had Transformers too. I love Transformers as
Also
a
a
kid.
great one.
Still like it today, but obviously liked it more as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
That movie hit. Saw both those movies in theaters. Was super excited for them both. Loved them both. But I think Spider-Man 3 was my favorite too as a kid.
My favorite one today, though,
Yes, today.
Shooter.
Shooter.
Mark Wahlberg, Michael
Word.
Pena, Danny Glover. Love that movie.
I fuck with Shooter. Very solid movie.
Shooter.
Yeah.
Danny Glover, Michael Pena, and who else?
Mark
Mark
Wahlberg.
Wahlberg was the
Main
uh,
character.
Oh,
main-
that's a
main
pretty good
character.
cast.
It's a good movie.
It's a good comedic cast.
Yeah. Tom, what's your favorite one today? Probably still Spider-Man. Hold up.
Spider-Man from 2007.
Yeah,
Yeah, what's your favorite
favorite
one
today?
On 2007. I believe Shrek 3 came out
It
then.
did.
That was
Yes.
not a great one.
No,
No,
it wasn't.
What?
No.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. Did The Departed come out?
2006.
Ah,
Yeah.
where is 2007?
Tom's throwing darts. He's
I'm
missing
throwing
the bar.
darts and I'm
You're
I'm
close.
hitting the drywall right now. It's fucking pissing me off. All right. Come on, man. Come on.
You can take a minute here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take. I'm gonna
Cook
have
and
to
give
take
his.
a minute. Here.
Yeah, so my favorite movie from the year 2007 is the best high school movie of all time and one of the best comedies in my opinion of all time.
High School Musical.
Superbad.
Oh, word. Great movie.
Not High School Musical, Superbad, Sean. Love that
Superbad.
movie. And I had Ocean's 13,
McLovin.
which was a close second for me, but Superbad's my favorite from that year.
Right on.
McLovin, baby.
Oh, here's a good one from 2007 for you guys. I got ourselves. It's a choice for me between. Oh man, 2007 was a really good year. So I'm gonna have to narrow them down. I gotta list them all off just so I can give them their cred where they're due. But I will eventually come to the decision in a brief moment.
Word.
American Gangster, There Will Be Blood, and 28 Weeks Later. And I have to say, of the 3 of them, it's a close choice between There Will Be Blood and American Gangster, but I gotta say it's probably American Gangster. I mean, it's Denzel
Right.
at his finest, man. You got Russell Crowe in there. It can't be beat. I
Right
mean,
on.
There Will Be Blood. You got Daniel Day-Lewis doing his A game, but there is a little bit of a pacing issue that some people might not get behind.
Work. All
Yeah,
right.
like we said, it was a tough question. 2007 was a good year of movies, guys. We'd love to hear your answers in the comments too.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
absolutely.
guys, give us feedback.
Start commenting.
Let us know.
Please.
Let us know
We're
what
begging
you
you.
guys are thinking.
If
All right.
you want to hate us, hate us.
Hate us. Give us everything you got, you fucking pussy.
All right. And our last quick hitter is, what is one show you plan on starting this year?
I'll go first. So I plan on starting that 90s show. I'm in a rewatch of that 70s show. I was going to bring up a discussion about that, but we'll get to that another time. But I'm going to give that 90s show a shot this year.
All right.
For sure.
Oh,
Gonna watch that.
I'll be with you on that one.
Word.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Tom, that's not that 90 show. That's your show.
That 90s show.
You're gonna be starting this year.
Does it have to be starting this year? Or is
Starting.
Starting.
Yeah, not one that
not
you're
something you've been
continuing,
working
yeah.
on.
That and possibly Chainsaw Man. I know I'm only going to be alone on that front,
Word.
probably.
That's fine.
But it's an anime that it's not a long paced anime. It's only 12 episodes out currently, so
Word.
it's something I could
Check
get
out.
through. Yeah, get through and wrap up real quick on, get caught up on. So yeah, those are my 2 picks.
Solid.
Mine's one I've been saying for a long time. Still haven't started it, but gotta start watching Westworld at some point soon.
Ooh, Westworld.
Thought you were gonna give Tom some due and say Breaking Bad, but I guess that's getting pushed
down
off
the road at some
years.
point. Down the road at some point, I probably will watch Breaking Bad. I'll probably just end up skipping season 1 because that is just brutal to get through.
I don't know if it's brutal.
For me, it's
brutal
brutal.
is a little bit of a strong word.
For me, it's brutal.
It's tough. A little.
I
tough.
think season 1 is only brutal if it stands on its own. I think it retroactively
Well,
gets better on
currently
rewatch.
for me, it's standing on its own, so that's why it's brutal.
It's only like 5.
Well, it's been
episodes,
standing
not
on
that
its
hard
own
to get
for a while.
through.
So is Arrow.
Yeah. Yes, it has. That's true.
But
Word, Westworld. I know your brother loves that. I've heard it's very good things.
love the
about
first season. Said the second season was I think he said was the greatest writing he had ever seen on TV.
That's a strong
and then
strong
said
opinion.
said the third one was absolute dog shit.
Sounds like a
I'm
big
s-
mixed bag.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
I'm still gonna watch it though. 'Cause
Word. All right, let me know how it is.
Gotta see. But
It's a cool premise for sure.
before we finish off, you guys got any last things you want to talk about?
So the last thing, there was one thing Tom and I didn't get to today. We've been on a mindfuck movie binge, and we're gonna cover that in a later episode. So if you guys are into that, you've got that to look forward to.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know in the comments what you think about us delving into that. But other than that, thanks for listening.
Tom, anything before we wrap up?
No.
All right, right on.
That's it.
All right, well,
My thinking is done for the day. I leave it in the corner, okay?
all right. Well, thank you guys again for listening to Late to the Game. Don't be late to the next episode, and we will catch you guys next time.
Alrighty. Peace out.